Magnus. They'll be starting any second. Magnus won the first match yesterday. Let's see. The first game was a draw, and then Magnus won the second game. The third game was a draw, and Giri won the fourth game. And then the first Blitz game was a draw, and Magnus won the second Blitz game, avoiding the Armageddon. And so he won the match. Today is the second match. If Giri wins the matches today, then they'll play tomorrow in the last match, and that'll be it. If Magnus wins today, then it's over and he wins the tournament. And mainly and so forth. Yeah. All right. I thought it might be late today, but it looks like they're starting late instead of me. Magnus has white the first game because it says so. So there you go. And that's what's happening. It's all happening. It is me, that's correct. I set things up in like a minute. Let's see, the light's on. It's on mute. You guys can probably hear me because I don't hear any complaining. The board looks right. Yeah, I don't think I did anything wrong this time. That's weird because I set it up pretty quickly. All right, well, good. Okay, D4, knight F6, C4, E6, knight F3, D5. Well, I'm interested to see if Magnus plays G3 or knight C3 here. And after knight C3, will Giri play bishop B4, bishop E7? I don't know. Oh, he played C5. Oh, I guess Giri does play the semi-Tarrasch. I guess he'll take with the knight. Okay, so he does play the semi-Tarrasch. It's funny. I have white a lot in these kinds of positions. And in slow chess, I've never faced the semi-Tarrasch. But maybe that's because I play knight C3 here, and after D5, I play bishop G5. I don't usually play knight F3, knight C3. That's probably why I don't face the semi-Tarrasch. It could just be the people I play don't play it. So we see this a lot, so they're playing very quickly. Yeah, I remember in a previous match, it might have been Nepomniachtchi Giri, white was playing this a lot, which I thought was weird. But okay, this is the more standard move. And Dominguez likes to play this position with black. Both sides played very fast, a very standard play. Let me refresh so the board has the right color. Okay, and after bishop b7, rook e1. All right, so yeah, we have a position where white has a slight advantage because he has a nice center, and black is super solid. And he hopes later in the game when white pushes this pawn that he actually loses the pawn because it becomes weak. That's the idea anyway. Wow, rook e3 really quickly for Magnus. So I guess this is his preparation. I've never seen this move or anything like that. Usually they play d5 at some point, or they play queen f4 first. Queen f4 defends the e4 pawn and the knight on f3 and puts pressure everywhere. But Giri played pretty quickly knight f6, so maybe he knows the move rook e3. The engine says it's equal, and yeah, both sides have tons of time. And yesterday when they played game one and game two, game one I was confused why they were playing so slowly, and this game they are not. Okay, the engine says this is no problem for black, that white has no advantage, and I assume Magnus is still in his preparation because he's moving instantly, so he doesn't agree with the not high depth engine analysis yet. It's Karen. You can't hear me because you're dead. Well, stop being dead. Yeah. Okay, so this is definitely some prep from Magnus. D5. And the only way for white to get an advantage is to play e5, which is a temporary pawn sack. Take on d5, and black plays queen d6, blocking the pawn. You can see the pawn might be more weak than queeny. So yeah, that gives nothing to white. E5, the weak engine that doesn't have a high depth, likes black, but I'm sure that Magnus has analyzed this position with his coaches and stronger engines on a higher depth and has decided this is good for white. I mean, white's obviously not winning, but I guess he's not worse if this is his preparation. Mori Kami subscribed. Go B. Thank you. Yeah. So forth. All right, so this is obviously Magnus's preparation. He has 2.5 minutes more than he started with. And Chess Sweep says, this looks like a prep. Yeah, that's right, because he can claim a draw if he preps it 3 times. This is good prep from Magnus, because if Anish is looking at these lines in his prep and it says that black is better or equal, he may discount this. And if Magnus has deeper preparation, looks at it longer with, with coaches and more engines and deeper preparation, then he can find all the tricks. So yeah, it's not theory. It's just Magnus's preparation, this D5, E5 line. So he still knows the position and Giri does not. This is unusual for Magnus to do this kind of deep prep that Kasparov liked to do. Magnus usually is playing his own lines or novelties or unusual lines really early, move 4, 5, and 6, lines that are discredited or thought to be completely equal. And then he has his own little nuances and he's analyzed it more than his opponent. Obviously, if you think about an opening variation where there's like 1 or 2 really deep main lines, and lines earlier than that, I move 4, 5, and 6 are like that gives nothing. The super grandmasters might not look at those lines because they give nothing. But then if Magnus gives them a second look and has some new moves or some new ideas, then he can play really quickly and his opponents, And this is especially good in rapid when Giri can't think for 20 minutes and find out the best line. He's got to move quickly. Obviously, still in Magnus's prep, Queen E1. The D pawn is pinned, so we're threatening to take the knight. So the engine wants to move the knight somewhere. It says knight G5 and knight C5 are both okay, and Queen C7 is okay, unpinning. And so this doesn't give white an advantage, but it's definitely going to give him a clock advantage. And if Magnus has played games of this line against computers and coaches and has analyzed it deeper, when he gets out of his prep, he hopes he understands the position better than Giri does. So it doesn't give white a theoretical advantage, but it gives him a practical advantage on the clock and the fact that he knows the position better. So there's Queen C7, Queen E7, Knight C5, Knight G5. They're all good. The idea is just to, not lose a pawn here. Or not lose a knight, I should say. Yeah. Knight G4 is, I guess you mean in this position? Knight G4 is possible. Attacks the rook. The rook would move back. Then the knight is misplaced on G4. Queen F4 would come, and the knight doesn't really want to go back to H6. The E4 is the square that you want to put the knight on. And then, unfortunately, he's threatening to take it. This is a semi-Tarash. I guess after yesterday's match, Giri wanted to match Magnus's semi. So there you go. It's hard, that's right. I mean, semi, but yeah. So Magnus is ahead 6 minutes on the clock. This might be the most time anybody's had this tournament. 17 minutes, 37 seconds. A long time ago, before you guys were born, there was a gameplay between Anand and Salov. The time control was 25 minute with a 10-second increment. And the game ended. Move 24-ish. Anand won. And he had like 28.5 minutes left. So I don't think that's mathematically possible, but it still happened. So that's the craziest thing I ever heard. He had like 3 minutes more than he started with, which in a rapid game is pretty hard to do. Knight C5 is legal. White wants to play knight to D4 and then keep this bishop being stupid. Then maybe knight F5 to D6 or knight B5 to D6 or even E6. So white wants to trade the bishop for the knight, put the knight on D4, making this bishop stupid. He can play F4, F5, rook G3, E6, knight F5. Black's a pawn up and black has a stupid bishop versus a good knight. So the knight's better on E4. He doesn't really want to trade the knight for the bishop because the knight's so good. but the bishop is putting a lot of pressure on d5. So this is a very difficult position for Giri because he doesn't know it and because Magnus is still in his preparation. So a very good opening preparation for Magnus, getting a sort of sharp position that he knows really well and that Giri doesn't, and that Magnus has a monster time advantage now. So very good play by Magnus so far. Let's see. Knife f5 question mark hostility. How could you be so hostile? Yeah. What percentage of training did GM spend on opening prep? 95%? Something like that. Basically, the difference between professional players and club players is club players should spend 0% of time on opening prep. Professional players should spend 100% of time on opening prep. But usually what happens is club players just don't know what to do, so they study openings. And then they play the first 6 moves okay, and then they hang all their pieces the rest of the game. When you're a club player, the idea is you want to get better at chess by playing stronger players, analyzing your games, and understanding different kinds of positions, learning your tactics, and that's how you get good at chess. Imagine if your tactics were perfect, your understanding of positions was good, and your endgame play was good. At that point, when you're really high rated, now the way to get an advantage over someone of equal strength is you play the opening better than them. So obviously, if Carlsen's playing Giri, for example, and after 12 moves, Giri always has the advantage because his opening prep is perfect and Magnus is then even if Magnus is a better player, Giri's going to do better than, not that. But if you're both rated between 1,000 and 2,000, your opening prep doesn't matter much because it's just like a piece hanging festival. So just don't hang pieces and you win. Okay, so I'm sure Giri was told by his coaches again, like, don't play really slowly and have a big time disadvantage, but he just can't do it. I mean, it's just too difficult a position, and he doesn't know the position, and Magnus does. Magnus is still in his preparation. He wouldn't have played knight d4 quickly if he didn't know the position. Okay, so queen c7, that's one of the 3 or 4 moves Magnus probably looked at. Knight d4 is the best move. The idea is if you take this on d4, you're pinned, your knight's pinned, so never play f3 probably wins a piece. Again, white wants to play knight b5 and, f3 and d6, and white has a lot of threats here. The engine says the only good move is rook c d8. That looks really hard to find if that is the only good move, because you're in open file here, so putting it behind a pawn isn't really what you want to do. Now the engine says a lot of moves are okay. Queen d7, queen. The thing is, you don't want to play any of the engine recommended moves. If you play queen c7, you don't want to play queen d7 or queen c5. Why'd you play queen c7 if your next move is queen d7? Right, and queen c5 is also weird, putting your queen where it can get hurt. Rook here is weird. Your rook's on a nice open line. You make it really passive. So the moves that make sense for black according to the engine aren't really human moves. So this is great preparation for Magnus. And even if on move 30, let's say, the engine says all zeros, which is possible, well, Magnus is going to have 12 minutes and Giri's going to have 2. So it's great preparation, even if Magnus doesn't get an advantage. So good job on Magnus this game for getting Giri out of his prep, going into his prep, and getting a position that's not worse. Before the match, if you said you're going to have a position that's equal on move 20, but you have 17 minutes to 6, I mean... Okay, and he played a6, which is the human move, because you don't want to allow knight b5. And you want to play b5 later and maybe put a knight on c4 or advance your 2-1 majority. Now, a6 is not one of the top 3 or 4 engine moves. And so Magnus is thinking now, because Magnus wasn't expecting a6. And the players know this. Giri knows that his move is not an engine move because Magnus isn't moving now. So Giri's like, darn, I'm glad Magnus isn't moving instantly, but that means I played a move that wasn't very good. If Giri played the best move, there would have been an instant response for Magnus. Okay, and my engine wanted to play f3, attacking the knight. The knight goes to c5. This knight goes to f5, threatening knight d6. It says white's a little better. Magnus played h4. He's preventing the knight from going to g5. He wants to push his pawn, wants to play f3 and kick the knight out, and it can't go here. The engine doesn't like the move h4, but that could be that my engine doesn't like it and Magnus's engine does like it. But I think Magnus is out of prep because he thought almost 30 seconds about h4. I think if he was still in prep, he would have played instantly. And again, these positions are about equal, but I mean, with the time situation, this is no fun for black at all. No fun at all. There's even some exchange sacrifice. Rook takes, pawn takes e6, which the engine says is possible. Always sack the exchange. So the main issue that Giri's going to have between now and the end of the game is he's always going to have an insane, horrible time disadvantage, which you don't want to do in rapid. You don't. So this is, I mean, I don't know what to tell Giri, like, play fast and bad. That's better than playing slow and good. That's my opinion. I would rather Giri be slightly worse but have 15 minutes on his clock than this situation, which is probably equal, but the time situation is crazy. Crazy like Fox News. Let's see. Morphe had numerous chess books. Well, there weren't a lot of chess books then. Is this the first game of the day? It is. Yay, 0-0. Go Karen. Papa John's. Magnus just going to try to play the best moves he can find. And the main problem with black's position is this bishop is really bad. That bishop's always bad. And these kinds of pawn sacrifices, d5, e5, accentuate how bad the bishop is. I mean, if black plays something like knight c5, he would prefer this pawn be off the board, so his bishop would be great. That bishop's never going to be good, ever. So when Giri resigns this game, probably in about 10 moves, his bishop's still going to suck. Now, one of the reasons Giri played rook d8 is he's thinking about playing bishop c8 and blocking up this e-pawn. So, and also, when I play f3 and the knight moves away, so I can get my knight to d6, right now if I play knight d6, black can just capture it, the rook isn't on c8 getting forked. So one reason to play here is to stop the knight d6 fork later. One is to play bishop c8, and one is to defend the d5 pawn. There's a lot of reasons to play this. Now, the moves a6 followed by rook c d8 weren't in Magnus's prep, so he's actually thinking now. The engine wants him to play f3, kicking the knight. The knight has to go to c5, obviously. Then knight f5. And now Magnus has the g3 square available to his queen, and queen g7 mate, knight d6, rook to d4. So the engine actually likes white, even though white's down a pawn. White has good attacking chances. White can pressure the d5 pawn. White can pressure with this checkmate. Magnus could also play h5 here, or he could play bishop c2, hitting the knight. But f3 is the... Now, obviously never play f3, but I'm wearing a different shirt. I'm wearing a pandemonium shirt. So I predicted this might happen. It's funny, from Giri's point of view, he might be thinking, I played this, and Magnus started thinking, I guess the engine doesn't like those moves. It's funny when your opponent starts to think, and you're like, damn, I must have done something wrong. Yeah. Got to check that engine. That's right, it's a broken engine. Yeah, 15-minute with a 10-second increment. That's right. Now, white's down a pawn, and white's pawn is attacked a lot, and there's a good knight on e4. So even though white has a lot of advantages, like knight f5, and queen g3, and rook lift, and h6, black's up a pawn, and black's threatening the e-pawn. So black's got stuff, too. Problem is, that with the time the way it is, and the psychological factor of, haha, I out-prepared you, that's, not so fun for Giri. Giri has more fun, trolling on Twitter anyway. All right. Get rid of you. And so on. How about doubling rooks on the e-file? Well, I don't know which side you're referring to. Neither side can do that now, although it's white's move. I assume you mean for black, but I'm not sure. Maybe you mean white should play rook e1. Magnus versus Morphy. Magnus is the favorite due to the fact that Morphy hasn't been alive in a long time. But when you talk about chess players from different eras, you like to see how much they dominated. The two most dominant players of their era were Fischer and Morphy. Morphy was way better than everybody else, and Fischer was way better than everybody else. And, you know, Botvinnik, Smyslov, Tal, Petrosian, Spassky, I mean, they're all about the same, right? And Capablanca, Alekhine, Lasker, about the same. Carlsen's better than the other people, but not by a lot. He's probably between 20 and 70 FIDE points better than the number 2, 3, 4 players in the world. And when Fischer was at his best, he was like 1,000 points better than everybody else. So the funny thing about Fischer, which isn't well known because people outside of the US don't care, and rightfully so, is Fischer's USCF rating was crazy. Now, FIDE was also a little crazy, a little bit, but his USCF rating was crazy. His USCF rating was like 300 points higher than number 2. Right? That's ridiculous. That means like if Fischer's playing a match with the second best player in the US and he wins like 6-3, he loses rating points. I mean, his ratings were crazy, Fischer. Even his highest FIDE rating ever is still crazy because it was, 40, 50, 60 years ago, and it's higher than like the number 5 person now. That's crazy how high his rating was. Ratings weren't high back then except for Fischer. And Morphy obviously was scoring 90% against world-class players. So anyway, Magnus is the slight favorite. All right, never play f3. Good. Knight c5 forced. And now Magnus has a choice of several good continuations. Queen g3, knight f5, h5. And I think it's more of what order he's going to play them in as opposed to which one he'll play. I think he's going to play all of those moves. I just don't know when. The engine wants to play knight f5, obviously. But, Magnus is a human, so he wants to threaten knight f5. The threat is stronger than... So he plays h5. And obviously, Giri wants to trade pieces in any situation, but especially this one. Because, it's getting attacked over here. Knight f5, queen g3, h6. Bishop's here. So that's annoying. So the knight is more annoying than the bishop right now. So he played knight e6 to trade the knights. Then this bishop is being blocked by this pawn. So it's less... That was me. So it's less annoying. And the engine wants to play knight f5 and says that white's a little bit better. But you can see with the time situation, Giri's in a lot of trouble. He's basically going to get attacked the next few moves, and he has to move like 10, 20 seconds a move, to just sort of guess what the right move is. So it's going to be no fun for him. Stockfish 1860. Man, Stockfish in 1860 wasn't very good because it's no computers then. Let's see. The engine, blah, blah, blah. All right. You guys didn't take your medication this morning. No more chatting, more donating. Don't give chess advice in the chat. Here's somebody give those guys a ball so they can bounce it. Anybody? Vanquisher needs a ball. Jedi Bleeder. Somebody give those guys a ball so they can bounce the ball. Give them something to do. And then I'll come back and check on you later. It's funny, on The Simpsons, there's an episode where Lisa meets a girl who's smarter than her. So Lisa doesn't like that. And they go to the girl's house, Lisa's friend, and her dad's a professor or something. And they're doing some kind of exercise that's too complicated for Lisa. So they just gave her a ball and told her to bounce it. She didn't like that. But however, that actually happened to me. I was teaching a kids class before you guys were born, and this kid was just crying. And there was a real teacher walking in the halls, and I said, hey, this kid's just crying. There was no reason he was crying. He's just crying. So the teacher gave him a ball, and he bounced the ball for an hour until the class ended, and he left. He was really happy bouncing the ball. And he was really happy. $4, thanks Xenoid One. A lot of you guys should do that more often. Instead of going to Twitter and Facebook and typing nonsense, like take a ball and bounce it. You'll feel better. Really. See if that works. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Engine, blah, blah, blah. If the engine helps you play the middle game, we call that cheating. That's right. A fidget spinner. That's the ball of today. That's right. Hey, what happened to fidget spinners? Remember 2, 3, 4 years ago, everybody had a fidget spinner and that was all everybody talked about. And then I forgot about them. What are they, hula hoops? What's going on here? Yeah. No, it is good to bounce the ball, really. It is. That kid, he was crying. I thought somebody hit him, but he's just crying. He said he wanted his mommy. He didn't want his mommy. He wanted a ball. Man, was he happy when that ball showed up. You can't even, I never saw a kid that happy. He was like, yeah, have a ball. All right, so knight f5 by Magnus. That is correct. And white's better because white has a big attack on g7. White has knight to d6. White's unleashing his bishop. And black's bishop is terrible. Black has a 2-to-1 pawn advantage on the queen side. Am I worried about that? Okay, in 30 moves I'll be worried about it, but I'm not worried about it now. So the 2-to-1 pawn advantage that black has is irrelevant at the moment. White actually has a real attack. So now with Giri having no time on his clock, he's not going to play any of the engine moves ever, unless he's playing in the under 1800 section of a money tournament that Karen and I have. Then miraculously, all the moves are the number one engine move. Interesting. I mean, like, first prize is like $30, and they're like cheating with engines, everybody. What? Man, some people want $30. God damn. By the way, please donate $30. Okay, so d4, attacking the rook. The engine doesn't like that, and there's a really obvious reason the engine doesn't like it. Okay? Now, obviously, when Yasser Seirawan does commentary, he's going to go into a long spiel like I am now, okay? Because got to do something. But the reason super GMs play moves that the computer says are bad or you think are bad or whatever is because they calculated 800 moves ahead and you guys calculated 0 moves ahead. So Giri is making a move that's strategically maybe bad, but he calculated something. And d4 is bad strategically because look what you did to my bishop. You made my bishop great. Okay, the bishop here, I couldn't, and the d pawn is weaker now because once I play rook e d3, which he did play, now the pawn is attacked 800,000 times, right? This is attacking it. This is, my queen can. So obviously that pawn is probably going to be a goner and my bishop is better. Why did he do it? He calculated and thought it was fine. The engine doesn't agree. The engine says d4 is not good. Then he did it again. Now, before I do more analysis, we're going to thank Adam Wallace for 20 subs. Yay, go Adam. Adam, you're the best around, and no one's ever going to bring you down. All right, thanks, Adam. And Adam not only donated 20 subs, he has 942 gift subs in the channel since we started. Okay, so since this channel has existed, Adam Wallace has gifted 942 subs. That's 941 more than most of you. Okay, so now Giri again has very little time on his clock. The engine says bishop d5, and black's trying to hold. He played knight c5. Now the engine doesn't like it. His knight was on c5, then he just went back there. The reason Giri is playing these moves is he's trading. He's like, Magnus is checkmating me. Let's trade all the pieces. That's a very good idea. It doesn't work here, but it's a good idea. Okay, so you're taking the rook. The rook has to take the pawn. Giri's in trading mode. If I trade all the pieces, I won't get mated. Okay? So he gave his pawn back, and now Magnus played an excellent move. Taking back is actually fine, but he played queen g3, threatening mate. Okay, and now black has to decide, do I throw this check in? Do I play g6 or do I play f6 defending with the queen sideways. The engine does not like f6 because rook g4 is annoying. God damn. This knight doesn't really matter if I'm going to checkmate you. Okay, so again, the big difference is not only Magnus has a good position, but Magnus has 9 minutes to 2. I didn't even hear you come in. That's how loud I am. Like, you opened the door and I was like, ah. Also, Adam gave 20 subs, so I was talking about that.
Thank you, Adam.
Okay, so g6 was played by Giri. A takes b3. Very good. And, you know, Giri thought if I trade all the pieces off, I won't get mated. But he's still getting mated. Man, harsh. So Giri has a losing position, and white has knife on f5, and the material's equal now. And Giri does have a better bishop than he had before, but at what cost? Was queen takes e5 a move? Was it? Well, I would trade queens and then play rook here mate, so probably not. Got some back rank issues. You still haven't solved your back rank issues. You still play queen takes e5. Yeah. You made Karen jokes before it was popular. That's right. Yeah. Go Adam Wallace, but don't go. Stay there. We got Nepomniachtchi playing blitz chess on other channels, but not getting as many viewers as us.
Maybe it's in Russian.
It could be in Russian. He does it in Russian half the time. Yeah. Just slow down. He's always Russian. My engine is stupid. Maybe Cess is stupid. Cess is the same engine as this one. It's just more cores and stuff. I mean, Cess is stockfish, but it's many, 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 many stockfishes. Yeah, it's sort of like when George's fiance died, she had many, many, many monies. George never realized that. All right, he just made a one-move blunder, and he's going to resign after e6. e6 is really brilliant because of the back rank mate. You can't take the queen because of mate. And the brilliant thing is if queen c5, okay, then queen e5 is winning. Well, everything actually wins quickly, but queen e5 is the coolest. I mean, that's the coolest move. Threatening mate and threatening queen takes queen and rook takes mate. And queen e5 is not the only winning move, but it's b4 also wins. So if Magnus sees e6, the game's going to end really quickly. Yeah, rook d8, he's overworked. Yeah, Magnus sees e6, he's just making sure. e6 has all kinds of threats. The queen, the back rank mate. Now, he doesn't have to play e6 to win. Rook c4 wins, hg wins, but e6 just wins immediately because the queen is attacked and it's also defending this mate. And there's always a back rank issue. So after this, the only line to analyze, I guess, is queen c1, king h2. This is the only line that's important. Now, queen b8 wins, but e7 that's the obvious winning move. And if I had the white pieces, I guess I would be analyzing this. Okay. And then after this, it says white is plus 14. So, okay. So Magnus has to see e7 in that line if he plays e6. I mean, Giri might have seen e6 and thought he could play queen c1 check, but all right, Magnus did play e6. So basically, Magnus just played perfectly this game. Perfect opening prep, perfect use of the clock, and Giri was just totally outclassed. Yeah. This is the only line that's interesting, is check and rook takes. After e7, there's just no move. This is the only move where the computer doesn't announce mate. Okay, then Magnus will play e7 probably, although queen b8 check also wins. Now e8 is a threat. Bishop c8 allows queen b8. Bishop c6 allows queen b8 mate. Rook e4 does nothing. The queen can't go to the e file and stop the pawn. And if the queen goes to c8, then knight takes d4. Material is equal, but the e7 pawn wins the game. So he has to play queen c8. Okay, and he did. And then queen e5 wins immediately, and knight takes rook wins immediately. I think he'll play queen e5 because after takes he can queen check, and take the rook. The engine prefers this, but this is a more human move. That wins more easily. So I think Magnus will play this. He's just analyzing rook h4 check now. Like the line the engine gives is taking this and being down a queen for a bishop. After rook h4 check, king g3 is actually better than taking. Yeah, he played rook h4. King g3 and knight, actually they both win immediately. Yeah. He'll play king g3 though, and then Giri will resign. So Magnus wins the first game. He'll play, and now Giri will resign. And great game by Magnus. Beautiful. And Giri resigned. I have spoken. I predicted the moves and the resignation. Rawr. Just joined. Magnus played one of the best games he's ever played. And great opening prep. And Giri just, Giri was black and he ran into a buzzsaw. Truth hurts. So my prediction is Giri will not tweet between now and the next game. That's my prediction. Yeah. What was his accuracy? Magnus? It was at least 97.5. At least. If it's not, I quit chess forever, which I already did, so I don't care. Let's see. What do I do? Live analysis. And then this. Yeah, I'll say it was like 98.4. That's my guess. 98.4. Got to guess something. Not as good as Morphe, but pretty good. Oh, Magnus only played 93.9, it says. Now, what's weird about it claiming he played 93.9, the reason it's weird, it says he had 0 missed wins, 0 blunders, 0 mistakes, 0 inaccuracies. When I have all 4 of those as 0, which is really rare, it doesn't say 93.9. So that's a very weird analysis. Very strange. Now, it's claiming Magnus played 13 best moves and 7 good moves. So it didn't like a lot of Magnus's moves as being the best. It says that Giri made 1 blunder and 4 inaccuracies. It says Giri played 73. Yeah, harsh. God damn. Karen wants to play match with Giri now. 73. Karen could beat that half the time. Damn. All right. Now remember, when Karen and I have a tournament, if it was 93 against 73, that would be like under 1,000 section because those guys, their engines aren't as good, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. Exactly. Anyway, that was a masterful game. He really took him to school that game. He did really well on time. His time management was better. His opening prep was better. And he played very fierce. He was always attacking and also very accurate. So it's okay to win. I'm sure Magnus is happy he won. But more important than winning is preventing his opponent from tweeting. Giri's not going to say, oh, I won with black on demand. And don't forget, not only is white threatening queen g7 mate, which some of you saw, and promoting here, which will be mate, but knight h6 is mate in 1 also. Man, knight h6 is annoying. God damn. All right, so a very good game by Magnus. Giri's in a lot of trouble. He's down a match. He's down a game. He's most certainly the worst player. He can't tweet now. I mean, taking away his tweeting, come on. And also, I got 20 subs from Adam Wallace. Giri got nothing. Now, what you may not have noticed on Twitter, which is a big talking point now, Giri has a YouTube page, okay? He has 0 videos. He has a YouTube page.
He has, I know, thousands of
10,000 followers, subscribers to his YouTube page, no videos. If he ever puts a video out, we're in trouble. That's the big competition.
I saw ChessBase post about that.
I didn't. He'll get nothing and like it. That's right, Adam Wallace. Very good. Right, Magnus played a lot better than 93.9. Frankly, terrible. Yeah, the engine was cheating. Yeah. And so forth. My 10 best draws. That's right. Carlsen's up 1-0. That's right. And he's up 1 match to 0. He's 1-0 everywhere. Mm-hmm. Who won the first game? Magnus won the first game. The next game will start in about 5 minutes. Was Fischer good at random Fischer? I don't know any games he played with it, so I don't know. Probably. What was wrong with Queen B8 after white played e6. I mean, I assume e7 wins. I assume knight h6 check wins. I assume e takes f7 check wins. Everything's wrong with it. Yeah, after e6, it's over. Giri gets thousands of dollars to play 73. Now, I've explained this on many, many, many streams, and I'll explain it again. If I'm playing somebody a 3-minute game, and they're rated, 1,500, and they win, and they played 99.2, and I report them for cheating, and then you guys are like, well, he might not have been cheating. I've played 99 before. Okay. When you played 99, you did not play 99. You imagined it. Number 2, the game was 5 moves long, and your opponent hung mate and won. Number 3, your opponent was rated 300. Okay, that's when you played 99. Your opponent hung mate the first 5 moves, your opponent was rated 300, and you imagined it. That's when you played 99. When you're playing a grandmaster, you do not play 99, you play like 40. And you're like, I don't understand it. I played 40 against the GM, but against my friend who doesn't know the rules, I play 96 all the time. See, that's what happens. When every move wins by force from move 1 to the end of the game, you guys play in the 90s. When you play grandmasters and all your moves lose by force, except the one way that doesn't, and you guys don't find it, then you play in the 40s. So the reason Giri played in the 70s is he's playing Magnus. Magnus is putting a lot of pressure on him. Magnus is making it where there's no good moves. Magnus has a huge time advantage. The guy's like, I'm playing Magnus, etc. So now Giri plays 73. When Giri plays you, Giri's like, man, every move wins, and I'm 1,000 points higher than my opponent, and I have more time on the clock, and my wife's giving me a back rub, and I'm drinking the dragon drink, and he's playing like 97. That's the difference. Playing a high level of chess against somebody who's really good is really hard. Against somebody who doesn't put any pressure on you and blunders a piece every move, that's easier. So when I play a 1,500 and I play like 91 and they play 99, that's because they cheated, right? And also, a couple of weeks ago, I was playing a woman from China or Vietnam, I think China, and she was rated 2,300. And then I reported her for cheating, and you guys were like, no, you're an idiot. Then, like a week later, chess.com gave me my points back and threw my opponent away. Yeah. Yay, Pinky Jim, thank you. That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And the reason was the end of the game made no sense. Very suspicious end of the game. Yeah. Because sometimes when you're winning, you just win in a straightforward fashion. Like I was telling you what Magnus was going to do to win. And sometimes you play the engine move that wins that no human would play, which is very suspicious. Terrible. The truth hurts. All right, Pinky Jim 77 gave 5. Good. Yeah. Right, when your opponent plays 95 and you played 11, they're not cheating. You're just playing bad and every move they make wins. Now, if you played 93 and your opponent played 99 and your opponent's 1,300, that don't make no sense. That's not happening. Ridiculous. Yeah. Yeah, well, you wrote. Whatever that guy wrote, that's right. Etc. Harsh. Has Giri ever won a game in his life? Yes, he won yesterday. That's correct. The mystery of the game. There's still a mystery of the game if you don't have your engine analyze your game. There's the mystery. No one's ever cheated against you. How many rounds in this tournament? Nobody knows. We could have 3, 4, 6, or 7 games today, but not 5. It's weird how I was right about that. That was strange. 199 centidues. Yeah, that was Magnus's Mona Lisa. Eddie Goofeld's rolling in his grave, right? Yeah. All right, for $1 trillion, which game was Gufeld's Mona Lisa. Who was he playing?
We talked about this recently.
Yeah, what's the answer?
Can't remember.
Exactly. Even I've played the guy. His name's Vladimir Bagirov. Sounds good, right? And what was the opening? Gufeld was black and a king's Indian. Then he did the queen thing, mate at the end, like that, putting you to sleep with his, whatever. Go, Ben. Yeah, Magnus played well, but the main reason Magnus won that game was amazing opening prep to get like a 12-minute time advantage in a 15-minute game. It didn't even matter if he was better or worse. I mean, he had like 17 minutes to 3. I mean, that's harsh. All right, Giri played D4 supposedly, frankly. Somebody needs to give Hasu Magic a ball. He wasn't here earlier, I guess. Somebody send him a ball. All right, Carlsen's playing the Grunfeld, confusing the audience. Now, if I remember correctly, and I don't, he played the Grunfeld against Giri a few weeks ago, and Giri played the old line they were playing in the Karpov-Kasparov match with Bishop G4, F3, Knight A5, Bishop F7. He obtained a winning position, then forced to draw because he's Giri. So that did happen. So I'll show you what I mean. The last time they played in this line, they followed the famous, this was like every Karpov-Kasparov game from the 80s. Here, and then castles here. Man, that was a bad mouse slip. Wait, how's the rook on F7? Oh, that's right. Yeah, so they got this position, which was played like a dozen times in the Karpov-Kasparov matches. And Giri outplayed Magnus, was winning, and then forced to draw. That's what they did last time they had a Grunfeld. That was 3 or 4 weeks ago. Okay, this time he played the other way. This is the game Matt Larson versus Matt Larson. When Matt Larson played the Grunfeld, which he doesn't do anymore, but he used to, this is the line that he played with white against the Grunfeld. So if he played chess against himself, this would have been the game. Bishop D2, E4. And you guys remember this line from the 2012 World Championship match between Anand and Gelfand. And I think Giri's played the Grunfeld himself. So we got 2 Grunfeld experts. Now, if Svidler is doing commentary at Chess 24, he's also one of the world's leading authorities on the Grunfeld. He's either number 1 or 2. If Yasser's doing commentary, he just showed the line that I showed you from like the 1987 match and thinks that's the latest theory. So that's truth hurts. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, but I'm not kidding. Peter is commentating. Good. Peter knows this position as well as the players who are playing do. It's both of them? Man, I wonder if Peter's going to let Yasser show that other line. Damn. Harsh. Yasser's played that line with white, too. He played it in the World Chess Festival in '88 and won a nice game. But I forgot who his opponent was. But Yasser won with white playing the Karpov-Kasparov line with Bishop F7 and FG4. I forgot who he was playing. How could I forget? He was playing somebody that wasn't as good as him, but, like some GM. Will he take with his pawn? Hasu Magic subscribed. Don't subscribe because then you can't take that $4.99 and buy a ball. No. Peter was, in the recap, was mad when Giri didn't play Rook F5. That's right. Was mad as you were about f4 instead of rook f5. Yeah. I mean, rook f5 defends the f pawn on f3, so the white king can move to the queen side, attacks the f6 pawn, and when white plays b5, defends that pawn. And he plays rook b8, and then plays f4. What? It's like Giri's playing for a draw when he's winning. Oh, I forgot about that. You made me mad again. I don't know what I'm madder about, rook b8 or f4. God, I mean rook b8, but Jesus, so bad. Anyway, yeah, this is the Svidler knows a lot about the Grunfeld, a lot more than these guys probably. Go Peter. I don't think we've had a train yet. I don't think so. And he donated 20 subs. Still no train. Harsh. So for reasons I don't understand, Magnus is obviously out of his prep. So that means queen takes his theory, or Magnus is being silly, playing a really sharp Grunfeld line, not knowing it. I'm pretty sure b takes is right, because you want to play queen h6 and mate. Rawr. And go rawr. Also, when you take this way after the knight takes the bishop, you can play c4 and back it up. $12 bouncy balls for $4.99. Only the ball should bounce. Kif gave 100 centidues. All right, Futurama question. What's the only thing worse than being Zap Brannigan's assistant? Kif is Zap Brannigan's assistant. It's being Kif's assistant. That's the only worst job that happened. He's Zap Brannigan. Yeah, he's the first officer. He's the green guy. Sometimes he dates Amy. There's only one green guy. He doesn't have any bones. No, he was pregnant and had a baby even though he's a man. Oh, terrible. No, Svidler's not top 10 in the world now. No, Svidler's like 90. Svidler's almost as old as me, if that's possible. You have Twitch Prime, but can't use it for Ben. No, boo, boo. Did you already use your Twitch Prime to sub to somebody else? Frankly, terrible. All right, Giri has more time because Giri knows this line better than Magnus does. So the opening preparation battle was won by white in both games, getting an advantage on the board and a time advantage. Back to the drawing board for Magnus. I think Svidler's 44. I think so. Also, I think it's Shirov's birthday today. Could have been yesterday. He's 48. God damn. Yeah, he went from like top 5 in the world to, top 5 on his Twitter feed or something. Man, terrible. He really went down, Shirov. He was like 27.90, and now he's like 26.70 or something. Ugh, horrible. All right, so Magnus playing for a big disadvantage. After bishop e6, it says that's double question mark. Queen h6 winning the game immediately. And Magnus can resign. Because the only way to stop mate loses this pawn for nothing. In fact, it loses more because bishop takes and knight takes. So bishop e6 is a double question mark move from the greatest player who ever lived. And after queen h6, it's actually he can resign. He actually can resign after queen h6. He might. I'll show you the variation. Obviously, knight g5 and mate. How do you stop knight g5 and mate? I'm waiting. How do you stop knight g5 and mate? Do it. Okay, so there's queen here and queen g7. That's the normal way. But then I take, and I take with the bishop, and you resign. So bishop e6 is double question mark. Magnus is like 2 moves out of his prep, and he just makes a horrible blunder. Yeah, after queen h6, it's over. That's why you take with the pawn on c3, so you have queen h6 later. Yeah, it's resignable after queen h6. Yeah. All right, and then Giri has a forced win, so he plays a line that's a forced draw instead. How do you not play queen h6, knight g5, checkmate? Well, why not? It's mate. Terrible. Giri's always like, let's see, I'm winning. Haha, this draws. He's always doing that. Yeah, he finds the all zeros line. Queen here, knight g5 mate. All right, so I'll play the engine line for black. I think that line I showed you was the engine line. God damn. Okay, here's another engine line. Takes here, rook e8. It says every move wins, but it likes this the best. Queen takes g5 is the second best move? God damn. All right, so this is the only move because I'm not sacking my queen for a knight. Then this, and then d6 is the best move. Because if queen takes knight, this is mate. And then d7 and whatever. White's just winning, obviously. All right, so Magnus made a one-move blunder with bishop e6. And Giri didn't expect Magnus to make a one-move blunder. So Giri's not looking for forced wins every move. Right? Now, if I'm playing you guys in a bullet game or a blitz game and you're rated like 1100, I'm like, did they hang a queen? Did they hang a piece? Did they hang mate in one? And Giri's not saying that. Giri's like, castle, put my rooks in the middle, play for a draw. That's what he's thinking. All right, so he played. Now, here's why I get mad at Giri. Here's why. If you don't play queen h6 because you don't see it, bishop takes here is still not a good move. The engine never plays this move. It like takes here, plays c4. It doesn't take this. This just gives all his advantage away. Terrible. Yeah, now it's just equal. Yeah, this is not, maybe black's better. Black's down a pawn, but these three pawns are weak and the rooks are ineffectual. Black's going to get rook d2, rook d3, knight a4. Already black's better here. Like, this knight's almost trapped. You can't play knight c1. Well, you can, but, God, horrible. Yeah, the problem with knight d4 is after knight a4, you can't defend your pawn with your rook because I take it anyway because the knight's attacked. And then black's going to have this huge pawn majority and probably win. Giri's actually in trouble here. He's worse. So he thought he was winning a pawn and it would be a pawn up for nothing, but black has too much compensation. Black's rooks are better than white's rooks. Black's knight's better than white's knight. And white has all these weak pawns. So white's worse here. The people in the chat are like, why didn't you play queen h6? It's very similar. And Karen's always talking about this. I'm like, Karen, I'm trying to sleep. And she's shaking me. It's very similar to Zabel-Reshevsky, Zurich 53, right? Mm-hmm. Karen agrees. Does anybody in the chat know what I'm talking about? The Zabel-Reshevsky, Zurich 53? I've talked about it on stream before. Anybody? Anyone? That was much worse than this. That was much worse. Always play king b1 set, of course, but I don't know if he's being sarcastic and pedantic. I don't know. Always play bishop f1. Always says that. Yeah. All right, well, I'll show you because I got nothing to do. Zabel-Reshevsky. I can't spell Reshevsky because I'm going too fast. And then Zurich 53. PGN view. All right. If you thought that was a funny double blunder, wait till you see Zabel-Reshevsky. God damn. Analysis board. Give me a second. I'll change the scene. All right. Okay, so this is actually much worse. This is much worse. Okay, now you'll be like, all right, I forgive Magnus and Giri. Okay. I am Magnus. You are Giri. No, this is Reshevsky Szabo. I want Szabo Reshevsky. Oh, what a blunder. I typed in Szabo Reshevsky too, but it did it wrong. I wasn't paying attention. I figured once I got the game, it would be done. It's a double round robin, so I just got the wrong game. Lazy versus Rushy. That's, chess.com can do better than that. All right. Yeah, sorry about my horrible, shallow, and pedanticness. All right. Yeah, my bad. Okay. All right. So this is Szabo Reshevsky. Notice the bishop on d5, the knight on g5. Sort of a theme of the, yeah. Okay. White's winning here. +3. All right. Yeah. All right. So here black has to play king h8, and black's game sucks. Instead, Reshevsky played bishop takes f6. And now it's time for Karen to come in. Right, Karen? You see the position? Putting her glasses on. White to play and win. Puzzle battle, puzzle rush, training, tactics trainer. Yeah, he didn't see that. Neither player saw it. Because if you go back, here black could play king h8 instead of taking the knight. And then, okay, black's position's no good, but he's not. It's like +2 for white. After this is checkmate.
Were they in time trouble?
No, it was like move 20. Neither player saw queen g6. It's mate next move. King h8, bishop f6 mate, bishop g7, queen g7 mate. Instead, not only did he not do that, here white's big advantage, and they drew anyway. Like they played more, and there was a draw. After the game, they said, Szabo, and he's like, call me Laszlo. Why didn't you play mate? And they said, when you play Reshevsky, you don't look for mate in 2. So that's Giri's excuse. When you're playing Magnus, you don't look at queen h6, knight g5, queen h7 mate. But when I play you guys in blitz, I'm looking for that every move because you guys will let me mate you. Magnus doesn't let you mate him. And when he does once every 3 years, his opponents aren't expecting that. So that's what happens. These guys were top 20 in the world. Yeah. Reshevsky was top 10 in the world. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, there was a game, I don't know if it was Rapid or Blitz. I don't know which one it was. It was probably Blitz, but I'm not sure. Carlsen was white against Ivanchuk, and Carlsen hung mate in 1 in the middle game. And then Ivanchuk it up. He stood up and mated and, did his dance. And Magnus like, what? No. I think it was Blitz, but it might have been Rapid. But it was like move 20, and Magnus just hung mate in 1 against Ivanchuk. So Ivanchuk mated him. Truth hurts. All right, back to whatever it is I was doing. And then I have to go back to the chat and find out what that noise was from 2 minutes ago. What was that noise? Here it is. J Corzo 84 subscribed. All right, for $1 trillion, 100 years ago plus, who did Corzo lose a match to? Not this Corzo, the actual Corzo.
100 years ago?
At least, and it was to a child.
Yeah, I don't know.
Capablanca. Capablanca, Corzo. Capablanca was like 12. Corzo was the best player in Cuba, and then he usually would take Capablanca to school. Capablanca was 12, but then Capablanca had to pick him up, which was weird. Go Capablanca. The guy said Capablanca with several exclams. Morphe? What? The real one, Corzo. That's right. Was he the real Slim Shady? All right. So after knight c5, Magnus played rook e8 instead of the engine recommended rook c8. Yeah, rook c8 is clearly better because after knight e6, we can play knight a4, and the knight's just no good on e6. We can play rook e7 and take this pawn later. Rook e8 is also okay, also giving black the advantage because rook e5 is coming, rook c7 is coming. For example, if it was black's move and Magnus played rook c7, for example, Where would the knight go? The answer is fries. And I believe rook e5 also wins the knight. So Magnus is going to try to win this pawn. He's going to try to win the knight. He's going to try to win this pawn. And black is fighting for, a big advantage here. Okay, a4 obviously wants to play a5. Rook c7. a5 is forced. Knight c8. The knight is trapped. It has to go to a4. And now rook e4. So once again, after making this horrible blunder, which Giri didn't pick up on, now Magnus is better. He has 3-2 on the queen side. White has 2 isolated pawns. White's knight is ridiculous. White's 3-2 majority is irrelevant. That's not going to amount to anything. But if he ever wins this pawn, that pawn's pretty good. If he ever wins this pawn, he's going to have huge, it's possible for black to win these pawns. White's not going to win these pawns. And this knight's no good. So big advantage to Magnus. And it's possible, although unlikely, that Giri realizes what he missed. And it's actually likely, in my opinion, I think Magnus realized after bishop e6, like, queen h6 is good. And then Giri took on e6 and he's like, yes. That's what I think happened. I think Magnus knows what happened now and Giri doesn't. That's my opinion. Yeah. Okay, he played rook e1 because he always tries to trade everything. Right. Magnus won't be unhappy with the draw. He's going to press here and try to win. But, winning with white, drawing with black. Already won the match yesterday. Somebody just brought him the wrap it up button. Probably his dad. From the reaction on the webcam, you say Magnus realized it. Yeah, I believe that. Magnus should say something funny like, after winning the first game so easily, I thought I'd give Giri a chance in the next game, but, something funny like that. Magnus saw it and banged his head on the table. God damn. What? This other guy said Magnus was banging his head. Man, he really doesn't like missing queen h6, knight g5. Now, let me have a long, boring discussion with you guys that'll make Karen mad. I have a friend in California named Craig Berger. He used to live in New York. He's 1900 plus tax. And we used to have a discussion. And when we have discussions, he always wins because he has like 4 master's degrees and he's smart and I'm not. But I won this discussion because it was about chess. Close too. He thought he was going to win. I explained to him, the better you are at chess, the more you hate losing. And he was insulted. He's like, just because I'm low rated doesn't mean I don't hate losing, right? And I'm like, yeah, but you don't hate it like I do. You hate it like you do, like a normal person. I hate it at a different level. And he said, no, rawr, elitist, all that. Okay, then I explained it to him where he understood it. I said, when you lose a chess game, you're mad, and then the next morning you go to work, and you make money and whatever. Then on the weekend you play chess. When I lose a chess game, then I don't get to eat because I'm playing in a tournament, and that's how I make money, and then I lose, and then I go home, and I'm like, what I do for a living is I lose, and then I don't eat. That's great, yay. Okay, so I don't like losing. So when these guys lose, potentially every loss could cost them their whole life because, for example, when Magnus lost the last round to Svidler in the candidates tournament before he was world champion, when he lost with the white pieces, okay, Magnus was very distraught because that would cost him years and years to become world champion if he ever would become one. And then who saved him for $1 trillion, Karen? Why did Magnus become the world champion? Who saved him? Magnus lost the last round of the candidates. Mm-hmm. That meant he wasn't going to play for the world championship.
What year?
9 years ago, 8 years ago. But in a game that mattered, the right guy won, and then Magnus won the candidates and beat Anand for the world championship. He was saved. Ivanchuk saved him. Ivanchuk beat Kramnik. Ivanchuk lost all of his games on time, which was very strange, by the way. Then he played Kramnik. If Kramnik won, or even drew, I think, then Magnus is out. And then Kramnik will play Anand for the world championship. But Ivanchuk won, and his demeanor changed quite a bit, Magnus. because every game you play at the top level could potentially cost you hundreds of thousands or millions because your rating goes down, you don't get invited to the candidates, you don't win the candidates, COVID-19 happens and Radulov doesn't play in the candidates, and now Caruana gets in there, and you could become the world champion because of that nonsense. Okay? My friend who's 1900, his life doesn't change when he wins or loses a game, he's just mad, right? Now, obviously, my life doesn't change if I win or lose a game, but, 10, 20, 30 years ago, if I had bills to pay and I lost the last round to somebody with my own rating, those bills weren't getting paid. It was COVID every day for me. And I lost a lot of last round games. God damn. I mean, my friend, he can't tell you any game that he lost. I can tell you every game I lost in the last round in the last 30 years that cost me $500 or more. And there's too many of them. All right, back to whatever these guys are doing. Takes, B5, must take en passant, knows the en passant rule. Good. And this should be a draw, but black is clearly better. The reason is black potentially getting a passed pawn is likely and white is not. So black could cause some trouble here for white because black's knight could go to D5 or A4. This knight's obviously very stupid. This pawn's weak. These pawns are not weak. So black's better here. It should be a draw, but we've seen Magnus win these positions before. Yeah. Ivanchuk. If Ivanchuk lost to Kramnik, Carlsen wouldn't be the world champion, if ever, for 2 or 3 more years. And then maybe Kramnik would have been the world champion again. I don't know. Crazy. Yeah. Yeah, and Svidler won with black against Magnus in the last round. God damn. That's crazy. Man, Magnus was not happy when he lost to Svidler. That was the not happiest he ever was. Then half an hour later, he was pretty happy. Things change. That was crazy. That was a crazy day. It was like, is Kramnik or Carlsen going to play for the world championship? And they both lost to lower rated players. Damn. You guys remember that? That was awesome. What happened here? Does anybody want, let's see, first come, first serve. Record game 1 from today. I know it's a holiday and a weekend. I have to record it. Should I do game of the day, the first game of this match? No, I'm sort of old.
Yeah.
You say yeah? Okay. I was doing live analysis. They might still say no to me, but I am the first one who answered.
Why would I say that?
I don't know. Somebody else might want to do it. I'm not the highest on their list of people to do stuff. No, I don't know if Magnus was the highest rated player in the world then. He might have been, but I don't know if he was. It's a long time ago. Why did Carlsen withdrew from the previous candidates? What is this, 10 years ago? Man. Pam said, hi, Karen. How are you doing? She says she's tired. Let's see. Go Ivanchuk. Also Pat Buchanan. Top 3 of all time? Let me think. I got the first 2. Hold on. Okay, I got who the third is. Dylon, and Dylon. Because he spits hot fire. Right? Karen agrees. Giri's rapper's name is 50%. We've already heard that joke yesterday. All right, the engine says it's all zeros, so Giri's happy. I sort of like black because this knight's no good. But the engine says it's a draw. There's no advantage. Rawr. Chess Sweep says, why didn't Giri play Queen H6? It's beyond me. Yeah, the truth hurts. Probably didn't see it. Yeah, Queen H6 was crushing. God damn. Yeah, so Carlsen does know. I don't think Giri knows. Now, supposedly, you can see each other's webcams. Maybe Giri saw Magnus banging his head against the table. I don't know. Would be funny if true. All right, let's see. I might be doing game of the day, the first game. Maybe. I'll do it. Fantastic. I'll get a template. What? Get a template? Then I'll need help from you. Yeah.
I thought you already had a template.
They're going to do like a picture. I don't know.
That's fine. I can help you.
Uh, 500 centidues. Thanks, Pam. 200 centidues from Kif. Will we have our first trained? We need 100 centidues from anybody or 1,000 subs. No, obviously he's not going to give away that he blundered. He's going to wait until Giri moves before he shows his emotion. Yeah, ridiculous. Cy Bradbury started the train after other people started the train. Another train. Go, everybody. Linder 18 gifted 5 subs instead of $9.99 or $10.01. He's gifted 104 subs in the channel. God damn. Good job, Linder. After bishop takes bishop in this game, and then, Carlsen, whatever he did, I wonder if Giri saw that and said, what happened here? Interesting. Nemsko stream. Never heard of any of that. Can you do some commentary on moves you'd play here? I cannot. I only talk about random stuff. Do I still give classes at St. Louis? Sure. Cy Bradbury, 120 centidues. Can you borrow a feeling? Maybe. All right, so they're trading everything off, and they're going to draw in the next minute. It's the boring world of Niels Bohr. The only question is, who's playing for a draw more? The answer is Fries. It's the most drawn, it's the most splendiferous, etc. All right, so this petered out to a draw. Good defense by Giri, and it's still unclear whether Giri knows, that he missed Queen H6. The only way he would know is by seeing Magnus gesticulate wildly and then, figure it out from that. Why not take the pawn? Well, there's no pawns on the board. It's a draw. It's the most drawn of positions. They can't call it a da because neither one is Russian. Although Giri speaks Russian, so maybe. They could call it a что такое, I guess. Giri didn't react. Giri probably doesn't know he missed Queen H6. Magnus knows. And then some. Giri is Russian, isn't he? He's a little of everything. When he was a kid, he and his family all lived in a yellow что такое. Yellow что такое. Yellow что такое. We all live in a yellow что такое. I think that's what happened. Hey, when I went to Starbucks and said dragon drink and got to the window, which took forever, by the way, to get to the window, because I can't even tell you why. But anyway, then she said, oh, we made the wrong drink. We made the mango fruit. We'll give you that for free, too, if you want. And I was like, no. Throw that in the garbage.
They make that mistake a lot.
That's correct. Did they agree to a draw yet? Not yet. All right, he's going to take and take and take and draw. Devendra B gave several sentences. Did Carlsen Crafter lose in his Sizzler? Sure. His whole life is ruined. And then Ivanchuk saved his life. Giri isn't well known in Holland. No, what about Jan Timman? Giri made an aggressive move. I've never seen anything like it. It's the most drawn of positions. That's right, Atomic Morphe. No, when they said, you want the dragon fruit drink, I said, why don't I just drink out of a toilet bowl? I mean, come on. What was I quoting there? Simpsons. They were at the law offices in a mall, and the lawyer said, this is the greatest case I've ever heard since my case against, like, the Never-Ending Story or something. And then Principal Skinner walks in and says, is there an Orange Julius on this floor? And the lawyer says, you can finish mine if you want. And Principal Skinner says, why don't you just drink out of a toilet bowl, and walks away. Oh, man. That's like the only interaction between the lawyer and Principal Skinner, like, ever. You saw Magnus Carlsen in the news yesterday. You saw the news yesterday, oh boy, about a lucky GM who didn't face Queen H6. And though the news was rather sad, the play was pretty bad. You are the greatest hero in American history. That is correct. Lionel Hutz, a.k.a. Miguel Sanchez. That's right. What if black plays B4 here? I mean, then white would take it, and probably white would be winning. I don't know. Why would you give a pawn away for nothing? All right. And draw. Actually, after knight takes c3, the engine automatically ends the game as a draw. He can't even play king takes. It's not allowed. Also, in FIDE, it's not allowed. The game would be over here. In FIDE rules, you can't play king takes knight because the game's already ended. You heard Huey Lewis yesterday? Man, the truth hurts. Everything in this safe held up pretty well, except Sport by Huey Lewis in the news. Is Orange Julius still around? Yes. Normally, they're connected with a Dairy Queen. All right, such good support. Hooray. What kind of support did I get? 6 subs, 941 bits. Do you know which streamer always has the best support? I'm raising my hands because the joke is so good. Karen understands that. Which streamer always has the best support?
Best support?
Chess Bros.
Oh.
Yeah, the truth hurts. Dairy Queen can't call it ice cream. Wow, truth hurts. Yeah. Trying to learn, or trying not to learn, made the joke more complicated by saying Botez. And then this guy's like, why chess bras? He who laughs last didn't get the joke. Yay, Giri wins. What? I mean, he drew the game. So for those of you who showed up late, Magnus played a Grunfeld and seemed confused in this position. He was thinking forever. And then in this position, he blundered with bishop e6. And now queen h6 just wins the game. You play knight g5 and you mate. The thing is, with the bishop on e6, if the bishop was on c8, where it was, black would just play queen here, queen here. However, if you defend mate this way, you know, you're getting crushed over here. And the engine says white is +4. So, you know, that's not good. There's good and there's not good. That's not good. So queen h6 just wins the game, as in Szabo Reshevsky, but not as good, although pretty good. Instead, Giri forced the draw. Now white's worse, and Giri defended well to draw. So good job, Giri. All right, and they got to nothing left. Good, good. All right, good game, except for one thing. And I'll be doing the game of the day probably. So tonight, that first game, if you go to chess.com's YouTube page, you'll see me do a YouTube video of that first game where Carlsen played masterfully. Can you commentate an episode of Family Guy? I can. Which episode would you like? We're almost at 1,300 subs. Yay. Okay, if Magnus wins the next game, the match is over. Tournament's over. It's all over. Lenny Kravitz style. All right, let's see. Everything's looking good. Waiting for the next game. Let's see if... What's this guy saying? That's right. And then Trying to Learn said, Giri blew that game like... And then you know what he usually says. Yeah. That's how he blew the game. Wait, Giri tweeted, I shall fight to live another day. Wait, didn't he do that in reverse? Oh, that was before the match started. That was 2 hours ago. I want to see during it. Magnus wins a masterpiece. If you win that as a classical, you go home very proud. Svidler. Cozy Chessable sweater, here I come, says Anish Giri. What? Sand gifted 2 subs. Good. Yeah, trying not to learn 1, 2, 3. I explained that episode to Karen in fine detail yesterday. The one you just mentioned. The steak eating competition. Yeah, there's a gif of Magnus like, ugh, when he hung Queen H6, choking on his own rage. Yeah. So what I didn't say about that episode, because it wasn't as funny, is Homer obviously falls asleep while he's driving the truck. Mm-hmm. And then when he wakes up, the truck's driving itself. All trucks drive themselves when you fall asleep. But it's a secret. The truck drivers can't tell anybody because then they would be all fired because they can drive themselves. So the truck drivers explain to Homer, this is a secret, you can't tell anybody. Homer's not only not keeping it a secret, he's like laying on the hood of the truck while it's driving and waving to people and stuff. So he didn't do a good job, keeping it a secret. Then the truck drivers all try to kill him because he didn't keep their secret. Magnus leads 1.5 half. If he wins the next game, he wins first prize. What's first prize in this tournament, Karen?
I don't know.
Right, but you have to guess.
This tournament, 150,000.
Ooh, that'd be a good first prize. That's the whole prize fund.
Oh.
45,000. I think Magnus just throws that in the garbage. When Magnus wins the Lee chess tournaments, he doesn't take his prize and they put it to the next tournament. He should do that here. It's like 45,000. The next Magnus tournament, just do that.
Well, that's nice.
Does Feingold know who Nemsko is? Of course not.
It's Shiyu.
What? Oh, I know who Shiyu is. Yes. I don't know who Nemsko is, but I know who Shiyu is.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know why that's her name.
Yeah, I don't know.
That I don't know.
The world makes no sense this year. The one where Ben gets mauled by a cougar doing the Who's on First skit. Let's see. I'm thinking of, I know the episode. I'm making sure it's a cougar because, I'm pretty sure, is it a cougar or a puma or something else? I didn't think it was a cougar. That might have been. My favorite part of that episode is at the very end when they walk into the hospital and he says, "Oh, the guy's name was who?" And Peter goes, "Ha ha." I like that. That's the end. There's also a Who's on First skit in The Simpsons with Principal Skinner and Superintendent Chalmers. And Principal Skinner just says, "The gentleman's name is who, not the pronoun." And then Superintendent Chalmers was like, "Great, you ruined the skit 1 second in." So, yeah. Panthers? Do Panthers live in Georgia? No, Panthers live in Carolina. Thanks for asking. Did you get that, Karen?
No, must be some sports thing.
Yeah, the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. Steamed hams. It's Kangaroo 55 talking about steamed hams.
Yay, kangaroo.
Yeah. Falcons live in Georgia. That is correct. There's a guy at karaoke, and he likes to sing Red Hot Chili Peppers. And in the song where he says the city of angels, the guy here says the city of peaches. Because, we're in Atlanta. The end. Aurora Borealis. In this room at this time of day? Yes. Can I see it? No. Yep, Simpsons is good. It's true. Any advice for playing chess drunk? It sounds like you're doing it right. What device do you need? You should be giving other people advice. Can you look at the line, blah, 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 h6? Well, then knight takes f6. Knight takes f7. And white's just winning a lot of pawns. White's going to be like 3 pawns up. Analysis over. Who'd win blitz between Giri and Caruana? Whoever wins. They're about the same. Super Nintendo Chalmers. That's right. Ginger GM is the world's leading authority? A lot of GMs will drink alcohol occasionally. He's one of them. Rohit G 4869 sub. Can you coach Giri? I love your beard. What are you, Kesha? All right, Magnus plays the English against the Dutchman, and the Dutchman doesn't play f5. What? Okay, so if Magnus wins this game, the whole tournament's over. That's it. All right. Yeah, I got an email from you-know-who.
I'm not sure if I know who. Oh.
Good.
I see it.
All right. I'll be in my trailer. Let's see. Do you want the analysis? Add that player file. We can do that in editing. Are you okay? He's out. I could do some. Yeah, that stuff he was going to do, he'll just do it in post. Because, there's no reason to give the templates and then me do it. He can just do it later. All right. Yeah, and there's a guy who does the analysis, and he's not working today because it's 4th of July. He's like, do you need that analysis? And I'm like, no. And then the guy's like, oh, I can still do it. What?
You always kind of wonder why they do that anyway.
I got nothing. It's better than not doing it. Okay, now for $1 trillion, you see this position on the board right now?
Yeah.
It's the last move was e4.
Okay.
Okay, who did I have this position against last year in Foxwoods?
No.
Talia.
Oh, Talia?
Yeah, and here's why it's funny, okay? I played e4 against Talia, and she plays whatever she plays, and she played something else. She played e5, which she also plays, and I was like, ugh. So then, in this position, I played c4, because I knew against the English, she didn't play e5 against c4 or know this line, and we transposed to this English line, which she didn't know and I did. And then I blundered like I moved 7, which is ridiculous. She played bishop c5, which is actually not that bad, but I thought it was bad. It's actually not that bad. And then we played this main line, and in this position, I made a really bad move. I think I played queen g4, which is terrible. Yeah, and then after this, I played bishop d2, and then she made a really bad move here, bishop f8. Yeah, okay. And then this is almost winning for white, and I want a really complicated game. And there's a guy you never heard of named Paul Pochel. He played the 1949 U.S. Championship. He scored 8.5 out of 19. And he was one of the top 5 players in Illinois and Michigan, which is where he lived in Michigan most of his life. He was always in the 2300s, even in the 1960s. And if you know the tournament my dad played Fischer in, the Western Open 1963, Fischer got 8.5 out of 9. The only game that Fischer drew was against the aforementioned Paul Pochel. The reason I'm mentioning him is this is what Pochel played his whole life with white. He played e4. So Pochel has this position like 10,000 times. Bishop b4 is the standard antidote, although Giri has played bishop c5 against Magnus. God damn. And Magnus played queen f3 that game instead of queen g4. Okay, but this is the main line. h3 is a very unusual move. Normally they play g3, bishop g2. And black takes, doubles the pawns, and plays a6, b5 later, getting control of the center. So h3 is a really unusual move. Bishop c5 is also strange, but now we don't have this knight takes e5, d4 trick. So it makes sense. All right, so Magnus is playing for really, 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 really tiny advantage. Because he's, ahead in the match, but he's really got nothing. h3 is just, shallow and pedantic. So very suspicious so far. Oh yeah, Karen has all that money. That's right. Have I seen Hamilton on Disney Plus yet? I have not. There's only one time I see Hamilton, when I open my wallet, as was discussed yesterday. That's right. He did play a lot of bullet games with Andrew Tang. That is correct. I'm drinking the dragon drink, obviously. All right, so Magnus plays a3, b4. So if you want to be a super GM, you play h3, h6, a3, a5. That's how you do it. And your chick's for free. You know the wallet that Jules has in Pulp Fiction. I also have that wallet. Thanks, Karen. That's my bad motherfucker. Now, for $1 trillion, the wallet Jules has in Pulp Fiction that says bad motherfucker. Whose wallet is that? In real life. That's Quentin Tarantino's wallet. He's like, here you go. We'll use it for this scene and give it back. And then he stole it, so he never got it back. Terrible. Giri has to win. He does not. Giri can draw this game and then win the next game. If he loses, though, it's all over. All right, it's the boring world of Niels Bohr so far. Another $1 trillion. No, she didn't get it. So. There was furious anger. $700 viewers ado. Go viewers. Go ado. Yeah, I've never seen white play h3, bishop e2 castles in this line. They usually fee and cut of their bishop. So, I mean, white's got nothing. Magnus playing for nothing. Equal position. Try to outplay him and win the match. Take no chances. Will you play in the World Open online? That's a funny question. Is Adu Apu's brother? Nope, he's related to Oladapu Apu, though. I mean, Adu. Marriott today says, I'm more beautiful than usual. That is correct. No matter what they say, nothing can bring me down. Man, we can't visit Pietro in Italy. Boo. Instead of $1 trillion, a gold watch. That's right. Is knight d5 a good move? It's legal. But yeah, this is nothing. Nothing for white. Magnus has plenty of nothing. Luckily. Nothing's plenty for him. Bishop e3, developing his bishop. Good, good. Can white take e5 and maybe win the bishop? Or maybe I'm dumb. Well, I talked to Kurt Cobain about it, and he agreed. You want some of my tasty beverage to wash down that burger? Born in Oz gave 5 subs. Hooray. All right, Giri's trading everything. Shocking. What kind of burger is that? Cheeseburger. No. Where'd you get it from? McDonald's, Wendy's, Big Kahuna Burger. Oh, Big Kahuna Burger. That's the Hawaiian burger joint. Usually don't eat burgers because my girlfriend's a vegetarian, which basically makes me a vegetarian. But I do love a tasty burger. Go right. It's also the cornerstone of any nutritious breakfast, a cheeseburger. What movie?
Pulp Fiction.
That's right. Correctamundo. Good answer. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Sub. Everybody sub. You missed Jack in the Box. Sorry. What's a Hawaiian burger? Pineapples? I hope so. You, flock of seagulls. Where's the case? It's in the cupboard. No, the other one by your knees. We happy, Vincent? Yeah, we happy. Yay, 1,300 subs. Now, what drink did he have to wash it? What drink did he steal from the... Well, he said he could have it. When he had the burger, he needed something to drink. What was in the drink? Sprite. Good. Sprite, good. Never put pineapples on burgers, pizza. You should always do that. Dr. Pepper, Sierra Mist. Boo, boo. Terrible answers. All right, it's the boring world of Niels Bohr over here. This game is 200% going to be a draw. Did I break your... Oh, you were finished. Well, allow me to retort. What does Marcellus Wallace look like? What does Marcellus Wallace look like? He's black and he's bald.
I know.
Does he?
You were wanting me to quote from the movie.
Right? Does he look like a bitch?
Oh.
He's got a Band-Aid too. That's true. All right, good chat, good chat. Yeah, I mean White's got nothing here, and plenty of it. It's funny because the first game was like 1,000 moves of prep for Magnus. He played like a genius. I'm gonna do game of the day once this match is over, and you go to the chess.com YouTube channel, see my game of the day. One of the things chess.com does, which is obviously intentional, which I don't agree with, obviously, is when they put videos on YouTube, they don't put who does them. And you can't tell in the thumbnail. The thumbnail has to do with who's playing the game. So if I have a video on chess.com's YouTube page, you won't know it's me unless you start watching the video. Now, I tell you guys on Twitter and Discord, but otherwise you wouldn't know. Maybe it's better that way if they don't know it's me. Who is they? That is correct. They talk a lot, don't they? When they get together, those chess.com guys, it's worse than a sewing circle. Right? All right. When you little scamps get together. Just what I heard. Hi from Riley and Dad. Hello. And Dad. Wow. Taking away our freedom. Is that a $5 shake? Does it have bourbon in it? No. Who's the waiter when they get the $5 shake?
I have not seen that movie.
Steve Buscemi.
Alright.
It's true. I wouldn't lie to you. Yeah, they didn't put bourbon in the milkshake. Playing Buddy Holly. That is correct. Chess.com's the best. Is there a reason why Magnus isn't moving ever? Gotta make him move eventually. What's the main idea of black? I mean, it's Giri, so he's going to trade all the pieces and offer a draw. That's, nobody can do anything here. It's just really boring. None of the pawn breaks do anything. Open A file's meaningless. The open F file's meaningless. It's just a really boring position. The engine prefers black, I guess because white has double pawns and his bishop is blockaded, as Lisa Simpson would say. But that just seems equal. Man, the truth hurts. Damn. You guys are harsh in the chat. We've already answered that question. Giri won a game yesterday. Giri should have won the last game. Six replies. All right. Will there be a fourth leg to this Carlsen tournament? What? Orange Whip. Now you're getting to the wrong movie. Orange Whip, Orange Whip, Orange Whip. 3 orange whips. Do you stream regularly? That's between me and my doctor. That's not really your concern. Also, yes. I stream twice a day normally. Oh, you mean the chess stream here? Yeah, also twice a day. Yeah. If this game is a draw, is there another game? Yes. If Giri wins or it's a draw, they play a fourth game. If Magnus wins, the tournament's over. If Magnus had 5 minutes to Giri's 15, would his strength decline 50 points, 100 points, 71.89 points? Right, sweetie? How much is the prize? First prize is $45,000, or as Magnus calls it, negligible. Yeah, the engine really likes black. 0.4, 0.5. I mean, this is the boring world of Niels Bohr over here. I guess I slightly prefer black because, black's attacking these pawns, but it seems boring. The dark square weaknesses around the white king. Pietro, you can't say things like that. You have to say things like, how, is your pasta, made here, or do you, come on. Terrible. I don't think black's going to have an attack against white's king. I don't see any, rook b8, rook a8. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. Ruse on head. She says G, 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 G. No dark square bishop. Yeah, Giri's playing well. Maybe Giri will play knight h7, queen h4, knight g5, and he'll prove Pietro right. That could happen. The queen is a dark square bishop. That is correct. See, I'm worried that the reason Giri's playing queen d8 isn't for the obvious reason to play queen g5 or queen h4, but it's to trade all the pieces off, and now the queen defends a8. So you can play rook a1, rook a8, queen a8. Typical Giri. Will people get bored of chess in a couple of decades? Aren't we all going to be dead next year? What's this guy talking about? 2 decades? Nobody's going to be alive in 2 decades. Talking about. Maybe some bugs will be alive. Terrible. Not next year, next month. God damn. My pasta is better than Tours. Yeah, I thought he meant yours. It's true. Does your pasta bring all the boys to the yard? And their pasta is better than mine? Damn. COVID. According to Trump, nobody knows what the 19 stands for in COVID-19. Yeah, somebody told me they voted for Trump, but they don't think they should have. And I said, hindsight is 2020. Oh, snap. How to improve middle game? Blunder less. If you can't beat them, Giri them? Damn, harsh. It's funny how Magnus plays 1,000 moves of prep the first game, plays like a genius. And the next time he's white, his play is shallow and pedantic. No theory, no prep, no advantage. Playing slow. He's still upset about the last game. He's like, he could have played queen h6, etc. COVID. All right, so now Magnus has gone into Giri mode. Trade everything. He realizes he's clearly slightly worse. If he trades all the pieces off, he won't lose. Yeah, but the engine really hates Magnus's position, I assume because this bishop is so bad. The thing is, nobody can ever do a pawn break because I think it makes their position worse. So nobody does anything ever. Yeah, that's the most aggressive move Giri's ever played in his life. Jesus. Past the 4th rank. Damn. Ridiculous. Should I ban Xanth for that joke? Probably. What do you think?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
I don't know. That looks bannable to me. Somebody went up to Aviv once and said, I've heard this term. What's pasta in chess? And, he meant Potzer, but he called it pasta. Oh. Oh, this position's so boring. Man, the engine wants to play rook a8. Come on, engine. He didn't play rook a3 to play rook a8. God damn. Yeah, the engine lines are funny. Rook a4, rook a6. Like, come on. Yeah, very boring position where black is very slightly better. Let's see, Americans, non-Americans, chess is boring. Who do I think will win this game? Draw. It's the most drawn of positions. They traded A pawns, they traded B pawns, they traded bishops, they traded knights, they traded rooks. Everything's virtually the same. And I don't know, black's bishop is a little better than white's bishop. But Magnus is playing pretty defensively, knight d1 to f2. G6. Man, he has a lot of luft. What would Led Zeppelin say about this? G6 and H6.
A whole lot of love.
Yeah, got a whole lot of luft. That's right. Very good. Whole lot of lift. That is correct. Lufthansa has a new slogan for their airline. Instead of a whole lot of lift, it's a whole lot of COVID. Tough. That joke was not so good. What's my favorite music? D4. That's the most aggressive move in all of Christendom. God damn. The engine says boo, boo. It really hates D4 because it weakens E3. And it weakens C4. D4 is a very weakening move. This pawn's weak, this pawn's weak. There's no advantage to playing it. Very poor move.
Well, they just lose a pawn.
He's trying to lose, but Giri's trying to draw. So it's a big battle. What's that?
Will they just take the C pawn?
Oh, you're like, why does he take the C pawn now? Well, the thing is, I didn't do any analysis, but I see the bishop isn't defended on C4, and the rook's not defended on A3. So that's when I get scared. And when I get scared, that's when people get shot. So we're going to all be like Fonzarelli's here. And what's Fonzarelli? Correctamundo. So I'm guessing this move is risky.
Okay.
Yeah, queen b4, attacking both of these. And also d takes e5, and we got pandemonium here, right? Yeah. So instead, he played queen c7, getting out of the pin, defending his pawn. And now c4 and e3 are weak, so d4 was quite a bad move for Magnus. Magnus took all of his good moves and played them in game 1. Now he's tired. He's like, okay, that's enough. Game 2, blunder, losing. Okay, draw. This game, I'm worse the whole game, draw. Next game, draw. I won game 1, whatever. Yeah. Henry Winkler. That is correct. If you've never watched this show, you people, watch Children's Hospital. Great show. Henry Winkler, Papa John's. So in Children's Hospital, it's a hospital, and everything's a joke. Every line is a zany joke, right? Everything is. Everything's a joke. Nothing is not a joke. Then, in one episode, the hospital moves to South America. Like, it's the same hospital, just in South America now. So then,
When was this on TV?
10 years ago, like, Adult Swim. Then, in one of the later episodes, they're walking outside, and they're like, why is this guy selling, like it's a food truck, and it's selling some kind of Brazilian food or something. It's like, oh, that's right, we're in Brazil still or something. Like, and then they order like this food. Then later, I think it's back in the U.S., but just for no reason, they're in South America. Yeah, that's a great show. Henry Winkler's the hospital administrator. He's a great administrator. One of the doctors is a clown. And then the other doctor is a famous actress, and she's on crutches, like metal crutches, and she falls all the time. She's like the top surgeon of the hospital.
I thought
That's-
Henry Winkler was directing a lot.
Maybe. You people.
Acting.
Yeah, that's a great show. Yeah. Children's Hospital. Yeah, he's just great in everything. So Magnus decided he moved enough this game. Magnus might lose this game. He's playing pretty badly. He played the opening badly. D4 is a very poor move for him, weakening all of his pawns. That's not very Magnus-like. I mean, Magnus just making his position worse every move. Terrible. This is really un-Magnus-like game. It's like positionally getting outplayed. He's flailing. He doesn't know what to do. Yeah, this is just permanently like terrible pawn structure now. Yeah, I mean the pawn's better on D3 where everything's safe. This is awful. Giving away the C5 square, C4 is weak, E3 is weak, Papa John's. Very bad play. I mean, very anti-Magnus. Magnus is known for massaging and squeezing and boa constricting you, and he's playing bad this game. Terrible. Always retreat. Good, good. The engine's desperate. C5. Rawr. What's funny is, as I've said on previous streams, when the players are confused and they don't know what to do and they think forever, their moves aren't good. If they're thinking forever, it's because they're confused. Then they just make bad moves. When they move pretty quickly, that's because they're confident, they know what they're doing, and then they play pretty well. Magnus isn't playing well this game, and he's really playing slowly. So if you're watching the Chess 24 stream and they have a webcam on Magnus, I'm sure he's, you can tell that he's very unhappy, but he has to make sure Giri doesn't see him being unhappy, so it's very confusing. He's still probably unhappy anyway. Which two super GMs / world champions are the worst at hiding their emotions during the game? They're the worst.
Which game?
Chess.
Oh, chess.
Yeah, they're the worst. There's two that are well known for when they're playing, they can't hide their emotions. Horrible.
Oh, okay.
Naka's correct, and who's the other one? The other one's retired. Kasparov.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, Kasparov I mean, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. Yeah. Man, in the chat, they were like, Naka. Now, in Bullet and Blitz on the internet, probably Naroditsky's not so good either. He's like breaking his computer. Terrible. Now, Fischer never had that problem because Fischer always won all of his games, so he didn't care. All right, yeah, this is terrible. King H2 is another bad move. I'll bet you your comment about what Seth said was before King H2. Yeah, this position's really bad for White. This is weak. This is weak. White just is planless. He's playing really slowly, so he must be really upset with himself. He's like, I can't find a move. I think forever, and my moves aren't good. Magnus knows what he's doing. He knows he doesn't know what he's doing. He knows he doesn't know. That's why he's upset. He's just flailing around. He's like, I'm losing to Giri with White. He can't believe it. C takes I like. All right, these are fixed weak pawns. Black's pieces are better. These pieces are very passive. Magnus's only hope is, one, he's playing Giri, and two, everything is all the same, general area here. It's all happening here. He doesn't have to look at both sides of the board to see his pieces hanging. But yeah, in the long run, this should be that Magnus is black here. This is a typical game Magnus wins with black. The game goes on and on and on. Black's a little bit better every move, and then black has a huge time advantage. So Giri's playing like Magnus this game, and Magnus is playing like, let's see, who can I get right now? Man, those guys are all pretty good. It's hard to get them. You like Dennis. Okay, I got it. Dominguez. I had to do my Dennis. Did anybody get that? Anybody? No? You got it right, the Dennis? Yeah. With the Dennis system, he had to figure out what to do, and he did that. All right. 774 viewers to do. Magnus, the most passive player of all time. Knight D1. God damn. Man, if Giri wins this game, he can post on Twitter, winning with black on demand again. Man, harsh. Not dentist, Dennis from Sunny. The episode with the Dennis system, and they go to the carnival at the end, and he has his grandmother with him. Ow. Gladys. Willem Dafoe and Boondock Saints. I predict Giri wins this game. I've never said that before. This position is just really bad for White. It's worse than the engine. No, God, Knight D1, Queen C1. Come on, Magnus. Yeah, very bad position. I'm supposed to do this game of the day, and Magnus is making the match go forever. Damn. Setting up for the next game. I mean, these pawns are really weak. We can attack with the rook, attack with the knight, g5, g4. This bishop can come attack this pawn. Terrible. Man, even Giri's not trading. That's how confident he is. Damn, I never seen Giri that confident. Yeah, very, very poor play for Magnus. It looks like Magnus is black this game. This is how Magnus plays with black. Equalizes with black, slight advantage, big time advantage. Giri's learning from the best. It's no shame being beaten by the best. But Dad, boy, we was beaten by the best. It's the Jim Varney episode of The Simpsons. Put it in H. Four minutes to one. Huge strategical advantage for black. No counterplay for white. Papa John's. Is there an increment? There is. 15 minutes with a 10-second increment. Jules Verne is actually very funny. Good job. Pubic Library. Let's go here, Verne. He wants to play Queen F2, Queen H4, Papa John's. Not going to happen. What's the best move? Rook A2 is good. Rook D3 is good. G5 is good. All the moves are good. It's what's a bad move. What's bad is if Giri takes his 4 minutes to 1, and in 10 moves it's 1 minute to 1. That's what's bad. That's what Giri seems to be doing here. Let me think forever. Come on, Giri. You have a big time advantage. Put your foot on his throat. Come on. Man, I have a good joke I can't make. Oh, well. Bam. You guys will figure out what it is. Yeah, you guys do what I meant. Good job. Too soon. Exactly. No, when you have a 4 minutes to 1 time advantage or thereabouts, you can never let it get down to even. Then the other guy's confidence goes way up. He's like, yes, I was getting crushed on time. Now I'm fine. Hot dog eating contest soon. You going to watch that on your computer? You want to see the guy eat 70 hot dogs in 10 minutes? Karen's like, do I? Take my punishment if I know what it is? I don't know. You got to donate $50, but don't donate $50. $49.99. That's a punishment. Come on, Giri. Did you disconnect like Magnus did? By the way, yesterday in the last game of the match, the Blitz game, Magnus was disconnected for 2 minutes and still won the game. He thought that Giri was more disconcerted than he was, because of the bromance and stuff. So Giri thinks forever, makes a random legal move. That was worth it. Yeah, just trade queens, rook c4, and black has a big advantage. Yeah, or rook a3. Takes. Rook a3 or rook c4 is good for black. Pawns are very weak. King's trapped too. The knight could come here and rook h1 mate. Very likely, except for one thing. Come on, Giri. You can't be thinking an hour every move and making a random legal move. Gonna play a random legal move. Do it quickly. So you're way ahead on the clock. Boo, boo. All right, he moved. Both obvious rook moves are good. He'll play one of them. Okay, he played rook a3. The knight went back to d1. That is correct. The engine wants Giri to come over here and defend his d-pawn and his bishop, and he did. Yeah, now the times are almost equal, so that's not good. But black's position is great because these pawns are weak forever, and white's very passive. So still fantastic position for black. He can move his king on over, defend his d-pawn, then get his knight into the game and his bishop. And this is, it really looks like Magnus is playing black here. It's a real good strategical game from black's point of view. So the idea is if rook takes knight g4, and black has some issues. So black should play king d8 here. And now Magnus has more time. I don't know how Giri does it. Huge time advantage, strategically winning. Now he's slightly better and he has less time. Terrible. Maybe Giri will get in terrible time trouble, blunder, and the match will be over. Frankly, ridiculous. UA yesterday. If Naroditsky was the commentator and it went king e7, rook here, king here, and they repeated and drew, he should break all of his stuff and go buy new stuff. See, there you go. In the must-win game with a big advantage, will Giri repeat and draw? He's a minute behind on the clock. Unbelievable. Even Giri won't do it. Even he won't do the... He can't. He has a big advantage. This is his only chance. It's too ridiculous to... It's like he's intentionally giving himself a few seconds so he has an excuse for repeating. I mean, terrible decision if he plays king d8, king e7 and draws. But his time management the last 10 moves is absurd. I mean, ridiculous. He's behaving like, yeah, he's like, oh, I can repeat now because I have only 10 seconds on my clock. Come on, play for the win. Are you kidding me? A position where Magnus has no legal moves, he repeats and draws. Unbelievable. I mean, Giri's like a parody of himself. There's no reason even to make fun of him. He has this huge advantage. He has a huge time advantage, and he just throws them both away. He's like, okay, I'm going to make my position a little worse, but I'll just never move. And then I'll repeat because I had no time on my clock. White can't do anything here. There's a 0% chance that black will lose. And he still repeats and draws in a must-win game. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Yeah, drawn by reputation is correct. No, there's another game left. I mean, Giri gets a winning position. Giri has a huge time advantage, and he makes the game a draw. Terrible. A lot of people in the chat think Giri lost because his time says 0. So that's good. Why didn't he make a draw? One guy says the score is 2.5 to 1. Mathematically unusual, right? 2.5 to 1. Not easy. You got to try hard for that. Now, even though it sounds like I'm kidding and I'm making this up, I'm not kidding and I'm not making it up. In the 1987 U.S. Open in Portland, Oregon, after the tournament ended, after round 11, the results of Walter Brown's game with Albert was changed. Albert won the game, and instead of giving Walter Brown 0, he was given 3/4 of a point. That's not a joke. That's what happened. When the tournament ended, Brown came in second because of his 3/4 of a point, and they gave him second place prize money, but they didn't take it out of the prize fund. So the person who came in third also got second place prize money. Normally I would say Papa John's, but now I'm going to say USCF. So yeah, he got 9 3/4 points, but Albert got 10, so he won. Yeah. And I played Walter Brown in the last round of that tournament, and we drew. Yeah, he got 3/4 of a point. Yep. Now, this is what's funny about this. Nobody in the history of chess loses a game or draws a game, and then the next day, the result of the game is changed. That's very unusual. However, Walter Brown did it twice, and I played him the next round in both instances. It happened in Nevada, and it happened in Oregon, and I played him in the next round. Both times he had the results of the games reversed. So that's why you guys aren't grandmasters. What happened was, in 1987, the USCF rulebook said, you may not have 3 blacks in a row. You cannot have 3 blacks in a row. Not you shouldn't, we don't recommend it. It said you can't. It's an illegal pairing. Well, Brown and Albert were tied for first. They were the only players in their point group. They were the 2 highest rated players in the tournament. It was round 10 or 11, and they both just had black. So they got paired, and Brown got black. And he complained. He says, I can't get black. The rule book says you can't have 3 blacks in a row. He's right. And they said, yeah, but that's the only pairing we can make. So he played the game under protest. He lost the game. The USCF executive board was there. It was the US Open. They agreed with Brown. They said that pairing is illegal. So when the tournament ended, they said, we're going to give you 3/4 of a point for prize money purposes for that game. You come in second. He said, okay, great. So he got second, but they didn't take the money out of the prize fund because that would screw everybody else. So basically the illegal pairing cost the USCF $2,000. They changed the rules since then. Like, we recommend not giving 3 blacks in a row. Not you can't. Yeah, the end. Yeah, true. Yeah, and I drew him after that. Now, what Giri should do, King D8's fine. Giri should play Bishop C8 so that the rook doesn't get in here. And black's better. White has 2 weak pawns, and white can't do anything. Now, black's not winning, but Magnus wouldn't be taking no draw with black in that position when he's down a point. He has to win that game. He's got strategically winning position earlier, big time advantage, and he never moves, giving Magnus the time advantage. That was the really stupid part. And this is just a very bad position for White. White could lose at any second. He could just lose all these pawns. He's got to play defense. So very, very, very poor from Giri. All right. So this is a must win game for Giri. If Giri draws or loses, this match is over and the tournament's over. If Giri wins, then we have 2 blitz games like yesterday. That's right. Let's see what they're saying on Twitter. Again, I'm sure Yasser and Svidler are just saying the same thing as me, but they're madder. Dun, dun, dun. Giri misses Queen H6. Yeah, we know. Smyslov wins the candidate tournament. Yeah, I knew that. Carlsen's knight f2 was a very clever move. The game ended in a draw. Magnus needs a draw. And the Chess 24 propaganda is strong today. There's a picture of Giri. Very suspicious. Giri has a real chance at beating Magnus with black again. Not anymore. Last 24 hours in Florida, 11,400 cases of COVID.
Oh, really?
They break a record every day. That's good. Because they like the records. Magnus's initial non-reaction to his bishop e6 blunder was the best poker face in an elite chess tournament in recent memory. Well, obviously, if you blunder, you don't like do that. You wait till the guy doesn't punish you, then you do that. Yeah, obviously. A very funny scene in Family Guy, which I didn't get when I first saw it. Usually I understand Family Guy, right? They're playing poker, and they're like, wow, Peter, you have a great poker face. And his face isn't there. It's not drawn on. That's a good poker face. There's no eye, there's nothing. It's just a blank, yeah. That's a poker face. What should I do? All right, foods will be here in 5 minutes. Okay.
We have to just leave.
You want fries with that? I could order food actually, because even if this ends the match, I have to do the video. So I'm going to be here for an hour, irrespective and regardless. One time I said irrespective, and the guy said that's not a word. And I said, you're thinking of irregardless not being a word, not irrespective. And he said, what? So what did I do? Quick. If you're listening to the stream the whole time, actually, you might not have been here. Maybe. I gave the guy a ball.
Oh, I heard that in the car.
Right, yeah. I gave him a ball and he was happy.
I don't want that.
Man, Lisa's furious when they give her a ball. She didn't like that.
Can we get something else?
No. What do you want?
I got some Thai.
Okay. You want them to deliver it or you want to go get it? Okay. You want the soup or the curry? Tough decision.
Soup with tofu, medium spicy.
Well, yeah, obviously. All right, so we have a Cambridge Springs confusing the audience. What state is Cambridge Springs in? Used to live there.
Cambridge Springs. I don't remember that.
Well, you didn't live in Cambridge Springs. Well, it's a small town.
I didn't live in Cambridge Springs.
Well, there's only two possible answers.
I've lived in a few states.
You
lived
have?
in Pennsylvania.
That's correct, Pennsylvania.
Alabama. I lived in Massachusetts.
Not in Alabama.
I lived in Georgia.
Not in Alabama. By the way, the reason it's called the Cambridge Springs is because of the tournament in Cambridge Springs, Pennsylvania, in 1904. There wasn't any Cambridge Springs, Alabama chess tournament. I mean, come on. Queen's Gambit, they just watched it. That's right. They just watched my lecture on this. Yeah. Okay, now, here's what's weird about this. The last 2 or 3 times this has happened, White's played knight d2. Knight d2 is the move I play. Nobody plays knight d2. They all play c takes d5, knight takes d5, queen d2. That's what all the super GMs have been playing for 20 years. I play knight d2 because it's safe and boring and solid. But now they're playing knight d2. What happened? Why did they start playing my move? All right. And after takes, your bishop is attacked. So you take the knight and then take with the knight, queen c7. Yeah, and I've had white in this position. Sometimes I go here, sometimes I go here. I usually play bishop e2. White is very slightly better. The b5 that's not the move I was thinking of. The bishop goes to e8, rook c8, Papa John's. b5, huh? All right, so this is his prep. The engine doesn't like it, but it's obviously his prep, knight e4. This just looks great for white. If I had white, and I played this line with white, I'd be really happy here. Because b5, queen b6 is like what a weak player would do. Just bishop e8, rook c8, queen b8, c5 is normal. So, I mean, it's obviously Magnus's prep, and he likes it, but I don't like it. So I already prefer white in this position. And Magnus is doing it again, okay, with this great psychological ploy. He's giving white the advantage, and for white to have the advantage, white has to push forward and play accurately. If white goes la 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 and just does nothing, then black's fine. And that's what Giri likes to do. Giri likes to go la 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 la. And so if he does that, and plays h3, king h2, a3. Eventually, black's going to play rook c8 and then play c5 and equalize or be better. So this is why Magnus is doing this. He's provoking him. He's like, come on. And then, it's gear, So this is why he's doing that. Frankly, ridiculous. All right, now what do you want? Say Saturday, so you can't have tie. They're open 4 to 8. Yeah, that's the new hours for the Spice of Tie is 4 to 8 on Saturday. Want to try Indian? All right, you don't want Indian. The Thai place is closed. Man, the truth hurts. You hate that other place. You could get fries. What happened to that salad you used to get? You used to get it. Don't you like that salad?
Yeah, I can get it.
But you don't like it anymore? You used to like it. No? I think you used to like it more. Maybe you got sick of it. Remember you wanted the right dressing and they're like, what dressing? And then you'd have fist fight with them. That was great. No? All right, so Giri's like, I should play aggressively, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go king here, rook G0, king H0, rook C0. And that's not the right way to play. Impossible burger from Burger King delivery. I've never gotten delivery from Burger King because that just seems wrong. That seems like you shouldn't do that. That seems like they'll say they'll be there in 30 minutes. It'll be like 3 hours. That's what I feel. Karen is a bare knuckle brawler. That's why her favorite movie is Snatch. You've never seen Snatch, right? Got to see Snatch. I mean, it was a great movie. It's just great. Man, the guy who plays what's his name is so good. What's his name? The top mob guy. That guy's great. The actor's great. The character's name is Bricktop. Man, Bricktop is great. Yeah. This guy can't believe he never saw Snatch. He's like he just can't take it. You like Benicio del Toro? Yeah. He's in it. Yeah. Everybody's in it. You name an actor, they're in it. Doesn't matter who you name. Dennis Farina, he's in it. Doesn't matter who you name. Jason Statham. I could keep naming actors you've heard of. They're all in it. Brad Pitt, you heard of him? Yeah, everybody's in it. Alan Ford, that guy was great as Bricktop. See, this guy comes over their establishment, and there's like a dead body they're getting rid of, and the guy just steps over and sits down and like starts chilling. He's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was great. Do you know what Nemesis means? Harrison Ford, he's not in it. No. Oh man, Bullet Tooth Tony is great too. What's that actor's name? That guy's great. Man, all those guys are great. Everybody's great. It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Who was Guy Ritchie married to? See, that I knew she would know. Vinnie Jones. Now, wasn't he like a sports guy? Like before he was an actor, wasn't he like a something soccer player, cricket player? One of those guys was. He used to be a football player. Yeah, see? I'm not as dumb as you thought I was. Close. But yeah, it is easy to confuse Lock, Stock, and Snatch. But I mean, Bricktop, that guy playing Bricktop is so much better than him playing, the bartender or whatever he was. Much better character. Sting is in Lock, Stock, right? Pretty sure it's Sting, right? You ever see Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? Same director, same actors, but Sting is in it. Didn't see that coming. Yeah. You learned a lot about pigs from that movie. That's right. Yeah, that was a great movie. All right. So after Bishop E8, Giri's either been thinking for 8 minutes or he disconnected. Either way's good. Sting the wrestler? No. Sting's done one thing in chess I've never done. He's played Kasparov. Yeah. Sting's too good. If Sting retires, will he change his name to Stung? Probably. I saw Sting in concert in St. Louis at the Fox. I mean, he was great. What a great performer. I also heard him on the way here on my, I have I have like one of his live albums on my phone. All right, so he has to play the most boring passive move. He has to. He's Giri. He's got to do it. 93 is not a bad move, but he just... How's Giri going to win if he doesn't do anything? But he can do anything. It's a tough situation for him. Yeah, almost every big city has a Fox Theater, or at least the ones I've been to. Detroit has one, St. Louis has one, Atlanta has one, and they're all very similar. Very similar. So should I order my usual food, or you're going to do some tricks?
Yeah, I don't need anything.
Yeah, you do. Ooh, that's good. What happened? 200 sentences. Cy Bradbury like times out the trains. He knows when there's supposed to be a train. Good. You can still steal a basil roll even if you don't want one. Right? You're cold?
Usually it's hot in
Well, you said it was hot in here like an hour ago, didn't you? I thought you said it was hot today in here.
It's hot outside.
It is hot outside and muggy and whatever the word is. Let's see. Enter promo code. Never. Alabama. All right. Deliver outside. And then call us and knock on the door and say, help, where are you? Friend request, enemy request. All right, Giri, play Queen D3. That's a fine move. I got nothing against that move. This is a very strange opening to explain to an audience like you or a student. White's better now. If nothing happens the next 10 moves, then black's better. And the reason is White's D pawn potentially is weak. Black has the two bishops, but right now, nothing's happening because of that. If nothing happens, and both players just play really boring and do nothing, then the D pawn will be weak and the bishops will come to life. The reason White's better is he has more space. So the only way for White to get an advantage is to play aggressively and force the action and punish Black for his backward C pawn, in case Farnsley's here, and the C5 square being weak. But if Giri plays his usual Giri style, he's going to be worse soon. He's got to punish Magnus for Magnus's passive play. And he doesn't usually do that. He chills. So there you go. So good strategy for Magnus as usual. And Giri knows if he moves around doing nothing, that's not good in a must-win game. That's why I wanted to see Nepomniachtchi play Magnus, because Nepo could lose 3-0, but it's going to be interesting because he's got to mess it up. Giri's going to lose 2.5, 1.5, and be happy to do it. Now, to be fair, if I lost 2.5, 1.5, Magnus would be pretty mad. So I'd be pretty happy. Wouldn't you want to lose 2.5, 1.5 to Magnus? Pretty good. 1.5, right?
Well, I mean, obviously.
Yeah, frankly.
For me.
Yeah, the thing is, for me and Karen, that's a reasonable attitude. That's not a good attitude from Giri. Giri should want to win the match. Not like, oh, Magnus is better than me. I only lost 2.5, 1.5. All right, so he played the aggressive move. That is correct. He's got to go forward. He has to go forth. And so on. By the way, there was a huge discussion about how to pronounce Alekhine yesterday. And it had to do with the way Svidler pronounces it, which is different than the other Russians. And he talked about it. So there's Alyokin and yeah. Now the Russians like to say the yo sound, Alyokin, right? And Svidler said, when you're Russian, that's the way you would pronounce it, but says Alekhine didn't like that pronunciation. He said, no, I don't like that. This is how you pronounce it. He said, I should pronounce the guy's name the way he wants me to pronounce it.
Yo instead of yeah.
Like, it's, first of all, it's in Cyrillic, and then you can't read it. That's just a translation from the Russian, right? So by saying like Alekhine or Alekhine, I pronounce it wrong every time, so I'm consistent. Okay, but that's funny that the Russians and Svidler pronounce it differently. So that just shows you. Now, in a similar note, John Fedorowicz, okay, he's John Fedorowicz. And then a lot of people were calling him Fedorovich, right? So he's like, okay, he started calling himself Fedorovich because other people did. He's like, I guess they're right and I'm wrong. That's a true story. That's why everybody calls him John, because that's easier. Anyway, I hope you understood that commercial. Okay, knight c5. Magnus plays the tic-tac-toe defense. a4. And Magnus isn't going to do anything. He's going to Netflix and chill. And what he's hoping for is Giri says, I have to win. How do I win? Let me think 5 minutes a move. That's what Magnus is hoping. Then Magnus doesn't care if his position's bad as long as he has like 10 minutes to 2. And a lot of times when you're slightly to clearly better and you're trying to increase your advantage, it's impossible in a rapid or blitz game because you have to think about how to do it. If you just make random legal moves, your advantage dissipates. If you correctly figure out how to get your advantage, now you have no time on your clock. So chess is too difficult to play. We should play, I don't know, a spelling contest. How do you spell Giri? See? I'm the funniest guy in my chair. That's right. Not as funny as Svidler, but I try. If you want more information on cricket, though, then you got to ask Svidler or Hearthstone. I don't know what those are. Yeah, that's correct. There's no negative talent except for you. Boo, boo. You know why this guy has negative talent? The was in checker, because he didn't spell negative correctly. Also, he didn't put right at the end. That bad prose, terrible. Yeah, Svidler plays cricket, obviously. Svidler's a huge cricket fan. That's right. Svidler said I was spitting in my grave. That's correct. All right, so he played bishop e4. And even if you have negative talent, you can see the threat. h6, rook fd1. So white has this huge bind, and Magnus is like, whatever. He's like, I'm just going to sit here. You're going to lose on time. You're going to draw. There's no way you're going to beat me. The engine likes white, but white has to, do something. Not his strong suit. Black has the 2 bishops. What else? There's a backward pawn here. Black has advancing on the queen side. The engine likes white, but Magnus is like, so? Now, the way for white to win probably is to come over here. Queen h5, h4, g5, knight g4. But does he have the strength of will to do that, like Germany? I mean, h4 is what they're playing nowadays. So he probably will do it. Queen e2, there we go. Get that queen over there. Rawr, attack. Checkmate Magnus. Rawr, mad. Yeah, when Nigel go, that was pretty cool. Nigel was good when we streamed together. Man, we had a good hand in brain, me and Nigel. We play better than we play individually. Somehow it worked out. Let's see. Is the right plan pushing the king side? Why rook d1? Well, if you lose this pawn, that would be bad. So you have to defend your pawn, and then you push on the king side. You got to be careful, because this pawn's back is shallow and pedantic. Do you agree? Karen agrees, shallow and pedantic. That's right. Nigel would do this in this position, winning easily. Get his king, promote his king. When I was at the St. Louis Chess Club before you guys were born, there were a couple of people in management at the club. Gotta be careful here. They were playing outside. Their game lasted forever. Their game lasted hours. They were playing without a clock, maybe having a glass of wine, maybe not. And one of them came in because they had a rules question. And the person with the rules question said, when you put anything on the back rank, you can promote it, right? Not just a pawn. And the other person was laughing. And the person who asked me the rules question, they thought you could promote anything. They were clearly the better player. They didn't know the rules, but they were better than the one who did know the rules. Yeah. Like if I put my knight on the back row, I could promote to a queen, my bishop. And I was like, no. Ridiculous. Yeah. Exactly. And the rules are funny. The rules are tough in chess. There's a very funny Koltanowski story where he teaches the guy the rules, okay? And they're playing a game. And the guy promotes to a king. So the guy has two kings. And Koltanowski says, you can't promote to a king. And he says, you taught me the rules. You said I could promote to anything I want to. And he was like, all right. So then later in the game, Koltanowski promoted to his opponent's king. So the guy had three kings. And the guy said, you can't do that. And Koltanowski said, well, I know that, but you don't. Funny answer. And it's a joke. And then, like the next move, Koltanowski mates all three kings at the same time. He made it up. But I know that, but you don't. That was a good line. He got him good with that one. Yeah. What if I don't want to promote my pawn and leave it a pawn? Good luck to you. That's what if. The rules used to say that you're in check when one or two pieces are attacking your king, because you can't triple check somebody. And then at that point, some guy played a move like this, and he said, my king's not in check by one or two pieces. It's attacked by three pieces, so it's not check. Then they had to rewrite the rules. Yeah, exactly. All right, so queen e2. That also is not a joke. That happened. All right, b4. Magnus is giving up the c4 square. I must say, after game one, where Magnus played a masterpiece, his play is pretty suspicious. He's like, okay, that's enough to beat Giri. Draw, I win. I wonder if deep down he feels that. Probably, I feel that way. So Magnus getting outplayed every game, but doesn't matter because Giri can't beat him. I mean, much worse, or losing in game 3, losing in game 2, and much worse here. He hasn't played well since game 1, but game 1 he played really well. So that was all he needed. I just can't see Giri winning this game by playing good and winning. That's not what he does. He'll win if Magnus hangs his queen. If Magnus plays here, Giri's going to win. Otherwise, I don't see Giri outplaying Magnus and winning this position, even though it's better for white. It's just not a Giri kind of position. This move is weird, to play queen e2, to get your queen over here, then block your queen. This is a weird move, knight g4. The engine's putting the knight back here and all the variations, put that knight back on e3. This is a strange square for the knight. It's I'm sacking my knight no matter what you do, and that knight sack is obviously unsound. And if you don't sack your knight, why did you play knight g4? So you can't move your g-pawn, you can't move your queen in here. That's just a very strange move. But when it's a must-win game, Giri's out of his element. See, the way chess used to be, there were very few must-win games. Now that all the tournaments are knockouts, all the games are must-win games. So Giri's a good front runner because he draws a lot. So when he's ahead, he wins. But when he's behind, he don't win. Knight f6 incoming? It's hostile. I have to allow it. Queen takes X clamp. That's right. No, Hikaru's very good when he's behind. If Hikaru's down 1-0 or 2-1, that's one of the guys you want. Hikaru, Nepomniachtchi, the guys who can win. Yeah, Hikaru would be, playing for win every game if he was behind. He wouldn't be repeating and drawing. Ridiculous. Terrible. Now, who don't you want when you're behind? Even worse than Giri? Wesley So. God damn, what's wrong with him? Twice he did that. He needed to win, and he's like, draw. Man, next time I see Jesus, I'm going to tell him about Wesley. Terrible. Yeah, you meant H6, not H3. That's one of his ideas, I guess, but, always play bishop F8. So wasn't in the candidates this year. It was weird. Yeah, come on, man, Moth. We have a lot of viewers today compared to the other days. I guess because nobody's streaming, everybody's home, it's the 4th of July, COVID, etc. Also, it could be the final. Something. Wesley's always doing that. I have to win, I offer a draw. He's better than me. Come on, Wesley. Dragon drink. It's amazing how well Magnus played the first game. Then he's like, that's enough. I played well enough that game. Now I'm going to take a few games off and play sort of, wishy-washy. There's only one player who could become world champion playing wishy-washy. Wishy Anand. What do I expect Carlsen to do? Take this or take this. The engine that says Rook A5 is also good. But obviously Carlsen trading all the pieces off means he won't get mated. So that's good. Pierre Obo subscribed. Hooray. What's up with the clock? You want me to fix the clock? Fixed. See, wait, did that fix it? Yeah. It's still wrong, but I fixed it. Yeah, Magnus has been thinking at least 5 minutes here, so the clock... They're not playing on chess.com, so the clock is an estimation. Not a good estimation. My order's confirmed. Where are they playing? They're playing on Chess24. Sometimes they get disconnected. Especially Ding. Kobe is correct. I was watching sports like ESPN yesterday, and they were talking to a woman about something. She was the reporter, and she was like, I don't know. I think it was baseball, but I don't remember. And then, everybody who's on TV now, a lot of them are in their house. So you see like their books and pictures and stuff. And she had a picture behind her of her and Kobe. Kobe. Playing on Chess24 from China, giving pawn odds. Now, you guys are the gawking rabble, but you're very opinionated about internet stuff. You guys all think you're computer and internet experts whenever we talk about routers and speed and all that. So I'm going to give you a chance to opine. Okay, then we can get the chat scrolling. When Nakamura had the issue where he accidentally showed his IP address and the guy destroyed him and he couldn't play in the tournament and so forth, like a few days ago, I was telling that to my homies from Bruges, and one of the guys who's on the stream here a lot, he's about 2,000 at chess. He's the head of, not the head, well, maybe the head. He's one of the heads of computer security at University of Michigan. Like, he actually had somebody deported once. So if there's a complaint about somebody doing something suspicious or people are having problems anywhere on the University of Michigan system, he's the one who takes care of it. He's customer support, and he doesn't take care of it.
Do you want to take from David?
No, because I got this. Thanks. And I got Perrier, too, maybe. That surprised me. Okay. So he was like, well, the guy's a professional streamer. Why doesn't he have backup internet? Like, if the internet goes out, you got another internet, bam, right there, which I assume is expensive. But he's like, so what? The guy does his stream. Like, that's what he should do. He's a professional streamer. And I was like, I don't know. Anyway, for somebody like Ding or Nakamura or anybody who occasionally their internet might go out for whatever reason, but you can't afford that. If first prize of the tournament's $45,000, you don't have your internet go out, you can't win it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Should they have some redundant kind of internet thing where if one gets knocked out, the other one kicks right in? Yeah, I know there's a hotspot on the phone. Yeah, I thought it'd be like $50. I agree. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually, I've used the hotspot on the phone like a year or two ago before I was here. When I do stuff from home, playing tournaments or stream, I'd use my phone sometimes because the internet at our house goes out a lot. Here, it almost never goes out. Also, I'm not playing for 40 grand. So if my internet goes out, you guys don't hear me scream for a minute. You guys don't care about that. Euro Swiss subscribed. Hooray. No, but not just your phone, but like anything, just pay $50 a month and have backup internet if the internet goes out. You know what I mean? Yeah, whatever. It seems to me when Hikaru got attacked by that lunatic, or when Ding's internet goes out in China, they just try to get the internet back up. Ding doesn't say, yeah, no problem, here's my other internet. You know what I mean? You see what I'm saying? I've never heard of backup internet. I mean, if the internet's the only thing in your life that matters and you're making hundreds of thousands or millions and you need the internet, you see what I'm saying? Don't people do that? I mean, I don't do that, but you see what I'm saying. Well, you're saying Ding shouldn't do it, but Ding plays in all these online tournaments with huge prizes, and he's always getting disconnected. So I think Ding should do it too. Ding's got plenty of money. Come on. I assume, and I could be wrong, I assume the people who are huge on Twitch, like XQC and those kind of, the big streamers, the ones that have hundreds of thousands and, making millions and whatever, they don't have internet that's really fast in case something happens. They just go, damn, my internet's down. Let me get my phone, let me get my hotspot. Really? Is that what happened? Are you kidding me? Come on. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. So Giri, it doesn't matter if Giri's winning because he doesn't like winning. All right. So B takes A. That was one of the moves I thought he would play. Bishop takes C5. Now the problem is you can't play Bishop F8. You got to play Bishop F8 in chess. So Bishop C5 is a mistake because it's giving away the defense of the king. And now White's going to sack all his pieces and play for mate. And Magnus is like, whatever. He doesn't care. He's just like, I'm going to trade pieces. I'm going to win on the queen side. Giri's only hope is to, mate me somehow. Bishop C2 is the correct move. And now Magnus blundered. But Magnus's position is really bad here because his bishop is ridiculous. Trading this bishop and keeping that one, not a good decision. So here already Black's position is terrible. But he played knight e7, and knight f6 check is good, queen e4 is good. It's all good. And yeah, after takes, pawn takes, that looks really bad for Black. He decided to play king f8, which is the engine move. Now, I've been making fun of Giri for a long time. If he repeats here, I'm never doing commentary again. Okay, and I'm gonna complain on Twitter for like a year if he does that. Okay, good, he didn't do it. Queen g4, go Giri. All right, so Giri is trying to do the forced win, attack, checkmate, and Magnus is like, if I can defend this for 5 or 6 moves and not get mated, and get Giri down to a minute, then I'm okay. But right now, Giri has more time, and his attack is too strong, although it's not clear what he should do to keep attacking. Knight h5 threatens this. The engine says Giri's crushing him, but there's no, they're just looking at the engine. You have to see the way to win, and it's not clear.
They're not open.
Oh, 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. As they said on The Simpsons, celebrate the birthday of your country by blowing up a little piece of it. Let's see. Redundant circuits. Giri's +4. Got to draw again. Too nonchalant. He should have played more chalant. That is correct. Yeah, Magnus playing pretty passive this game and the last game. God damn.
Did you order something?
Yes.
Okay, I'll have some Anish basil also.
Yeah, you can have both base rolls if you want, if you're hungry. Aw. So the gawking rabble here, he says, I'm talking about why these super duper streamers, if they have backup internet, like when Hikaru got tricked, like use the other internet, which he doesn't have. And this guy said Ninja literally, which you should never use, paid Google an absurd amount to get fiber in his house, and he has 3 connections. I mean, Spencer has Google Fiber. It's like $70 a month.
Yeah, but you can't get it anywhere.
That's correct. Google Fiber is only very specific.
So
Yeah.
you have to pay to have it special.
No, but it seems like if your whole life is the internet and you don't want to ever get disconnected, you'd pay anything to never get disconnected. $50 a month, $100 a month, $200 a month, whatever, etc. Mainly, etc. Hans Niemann has subscribed. Rawr! He's on a 3-month streak. No streaking, Hans. It's against. Oh. All right, so Giri's got to tie it up like he did yesterday. Giri threatened mate in 1, and Magnus saw it. The engine actually prefers knight g6 to g6, but it's close. And Giri's just playing super aggressive, and Magnus is playing super passively. Threatening queen h6. Magnus can play knight g8, knight f5, or king g8, or take the knight. Taking the knight doesn't get mated? I guess not. The engine wouldn't say it. Wow, the knight can block on g8. That's crazy. Anyway, the engine likes knight g8. Magnus played knight f5. Probably because Magnus knows about my emotes. That would be my guess. That's the kind of knight f5 you don't want to play. Man, look at that bishop. You know what I think of Magnus's position here with all his pieces on the back row? He has no legal moves. He's getting checkmated. He has worse time. He's not playing well. You know what I think when I see that? Greatest player of all time. Okay, rook takes b5. Queen takes. Bishop f5. Now Magnus actually played a good move, confusing the audience. If I was showing this game to a student, I would say, should black play this capture, this capture, this capture? The student would say one of them, and I would say no, g5. Doesn't even matter if g5 is the right move. I just got the student, I got him. So white wants to play queen h6 check with advantage, so g5 is actually best. He's still losing, but it's a really cool move to play, so that's more important. Queen f3, we must take the bishop. Knight f6 is a good move, h4 is a good move, but Giri is greedy. Giri is greedy? And play queen takes f5, which is a horrible blunder. Okay, now the game is a draw. This is really funny, actually. Giri goes from +1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and makes a move that's all zeros. Okay, Giri. This is a beginner's blunder. If you had black in this position, and this was Puzzle Rush or Tactics Trainer, you would find the right move. Right, sweetie? Yeah, queen e2. Forking the knight and rook, which obviously he missed. So after queen e2, if there's a video of the game on Chess24, it's Giri destroying his whole system. Because if you don't play queen e2, white's completely winning. White's up material and better. But he didn't see queen e2, so he's choking on his own rage. What's funny is he's still not losing because he's Giri. So even when he hangs a piece for nothing, it's still a draw. Yeah, so if he saw queen e2, he would have played knight f6 here with a winning position. Or he would have played h4, also winning. But knight f6 is the most winning. Take that pawn when you feel like it. He just didn't see queen e2, so he's been mad for like 3 minutes. He calmed down, realizes he's drawing, which is the same as losing because he's down a point. All right, and now it's perpetual. Both sides have perpetual. Now obviously black's up a bishop for nothing, so white's going to play perpetual, and that's it. And I don't think black can play for a win here because we're threatening perpetual and we're threatening the rook. So it's just a draw anyway. But white can't play for a win because he needs to win because he's down a bishop for nothing. So after like queen g6, you resign. Rook d1 check. There's nothing he can do. So it's going to be a draw, and he just missed queen e2. He just missed it. He didn't see queen e2. So basically, this match was a very poor match, except for game 1, where Magnus played like a genius. The next 3 games were just both players not playing very well. Magnus playing particularly badly all 3 games, probably losing all the games. I'd say Magnus had a lost position in all 3 games. Definitely this game, definitely game 2. Game 3, he was much worse. Maybe you wouldn't say he's lost, maybe. And then Giri's like, yay, I drew every game. And he's probably upset about it. Okay, they repeated, and the game was a draw. And he just didn't see queen e2. He missed it. And I discuss this a lot in lessons, but I must admit, I do not give private lessons to Giri. And what I tell my students is, you have to look and see which of your pieces are defended and not defended. And this is not defended, and this is not defended. Conversely, they're both defended here. So there's no tricks. After here, queen e2, and Magnus is unlucky he's not winning here. He just won a piece for nothing. But it's still a draw because Magnus's position was so bad. Okay, but I mean, normally when you miss queen e2, forking your knight and rook, and you lose one of them, you lose. But it doesn't really matter because a draw and a loss is the same thing in this particular instance. But yeah. All right, the game ended in a draw. Giri should have won that game. Giri should have played queen h6 and won game 2. Giri had a big advantage in game 3. He couldn't win any of the games. Magnus, when he had the advantage in game 1, he took him to school, got to pick him up. Now we're going to see what's going to happen on Twitter. The tournament's over, but the Twitter battle has just begun. Right, sweetie? Yeah. Who's going to win the Twitter battle, Carlsen or Giri? It's going to be tough for Giri. It's going to be hard. It'll be a draw? Nice. Karen says Giri will draw the Twitter battle. Yeah. All right, 2.5, 1.5, both days. Both days were the same. Magnus won a game early, and all the other games were draws. Very suspicious. Man, he just didn't see queen e2. I mean, horrible not to see queen e2. Damn. Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of viewers, so I'm never going to leave too many viewers. Let's see. My order's out for delivery. Your order has been crushed into a cube. You have 30 minutes to move your cube. All right. Right? What would Stockfish do on Twitter? Who'd win a Twitter battle, Stockfish or Leela? It's funny that I said that because it was a joke, but it's like sort of happens. There are Twitter battles between Leela and Stockfish. Yeah, they both tweet. The people who run those things tweet. So, yeah. Didn't Stockfish just beat Leela in one of the... They have like a match every 4 days. Didn't he just win one of the matches? Yeah. Leela. Yeah. All right, so let's do a recap of that game quickly. Okay, we have Cambridge Springs. This is all... I've played this with white. And Magnus played very cheeky here. In this position, instead of playing boring like bishop e8, rook c8, c5, he started pushing his queenside pawns. Okay, a5, a4, everything. He let Giri have a free hand on the king side. And in this position, after knight g4, which is not a good move, Magnus started playing very badly. Bishop takes c5 is a mistake. Rook b7 is a mistake. And knight e7 is a blunder. And now white's probably close to winning. And Magnus did not defend this position well. g6 is not the best move. Knight f5 is a terrible move. And in this position, Magnus played the best move in a lost position. Obviously, queen h6 is winning, so he played g5. And in this position, Giri blundered. So Giri played pretty well. Magnus played very badly. And instead of knight f6 with a winning position, he played queen takes f5 double question mark, missing this move, forking his pieces. That's just too hard to see. And then he fought forever, and he was lucky he's not losing, but it's unlucky because the match is over. So, all right. So Magnus wins. Go Magnus. And Magnus won this match because he played great the first game and won. The next 3 games he had very bad and or losing positions, and Giri's like, but I like drawing. So, Pendulum 5 subscribe. Thank you. Ragol Radio gifted 2 subs. Hooray. Man, they don't understand how to leave it at the door. Queen c6 forcing, winning the rook. I'll drop the mic right here. What? You guys are talking about the game? Another train. Cy Bradbury starts the train with 100 centidues. Karen's never been so mad as the guy delivering food. Nepomniachtchi tweeted, all right, let's get that train going while I read these tweets. It's Karen, I agree. Okay, Nepomniachtchi tweeted, snatching the draw from the draws of victory for 3 times in a row surely deserves a separate term. God damn. That's pretty mean. I mean, that's mean. That's beyond that's a mean thing to say. It's true. Truth hurts. Giri's on the verge of winning, going to blitz, but queen e2 exclam is a crunching move that should wrap up the tournament victory for Magnus. God damn, chess 24. Giri said it was a huge pity. I relaxed at the end. Yeah. Truth hurts.
So, what are you about today?
Where's the other food?
It's on the garage.
What?
The bags are all
But you have them?
right here.
Okay. Well, you have them. That's good. I thought they didn't deliver them.
Okay.
I was going to kill everybody. $9.99 from Cy Bradbury. We have a train going on right now. Congratulations to Magnus on winning $45,000, etc. Also, etc. Man, the truth hurts. Man, Peter Fiddler really likes the first game that Magnus won. He keeps tweeting about how great it was. That was a good game.
Yeah.
Then it wasn't good. God damn. What a great first game from Magnus, and then the next 3 games. God damn. Not doing videos on those. All right. Yeah, Magnus won the match, 2.5, 1.5. He won a masterpiece first game. He was worse or losing or both the next 3 games, and Giri couldn't win any of them. And when Giri blundered a piece, it was all zeros. When I blunder a piece, it's not all zeros. That's why Giri's better than me. He hangs a piece for nothing and wins anyway, or draws anyway. There's a famous game, which you all know. They don't know it. Between Lubojevic and Kasparov. And the game's sort of complicated. Then Kasparov loses a rook. So he's down a rook. This is a slow game. And the game goes on and on and on, and Kasparov wins anyway. Very similar to, obviously, you were thinking at the Bronstein-Botvinnik game from the World Championship, where Botvinnik was up a rook like on move 8, and then he was lucky to draw the endgame. Very suspicious. Yeah. All right, we're at level 2. We need another Sentadus or something. Go, everybody. Go, Ben. Eat that food. Rod Blagojevich is correct. Wait, what? Botvinnik was pretty good. I agree. All right, we need another 100 Sentadus to get to level 3. Possibly 200. Who wants to donate 20 subs Adam Wallace style? Maybe Adam Wallace does. All right, I got trivia for you. In one of the episodes of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air starring Queen Latifah, Queen Latifah's trying out for a movie role, gets a call from her agent. And they said, you didn't get the role. And she's like, why not? They said they wanted somebody who was more of a Meryl Streep type. And then she says, who did they get? And who did they get?
Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep, that's right. She's more of a Meryl Streep type. Yeah. Which Seinfeld character does not like Meryl Streep? Seinfeld. That's the episode where Julia Louis-Dreyfus says she's always been faking it when she was dating Jerry. And then they saw some movie of Meryl Streep, and she's like, isn't Meryl Streep a great actress? But he doesn't want to hear about great actresses because of that. So he doesn't like Meryl Streep at that point. Yeah. Shadow Griffin gifted a sub. Good. 100 Sentadus. Somebody gift him a sub. They want me to go through the first game, which means I have to find it. That's, I'll never find it. I'll have to go find it somewhere else. Yeah, I don't know where. Did I memorize that game? I think the answer is no. Tonight when I stream again, I'll go over that game. Or I am making a video for that game right now, but not for you guys. Chess.com wants me to make a video, game of the day video. It'll be about 20 minutes long where I go over that game. So at some point between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Eastern tonight, go to the chess.com YouTube page and you'll find my video on the game. That'll go over the game for you. So there you go. You'll have to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Do you have any fine-tooth combs? It's more of a big tooth. It's not fine. What are those called? Big tooth combs? You know the white one you have?
Wide tooth.
Wide tooth comb. That's right. Yeah. All right, we need some more hype train. The more hype train, the more whatever. Yeah. Etc. Feingold comb, that's right. Magnus wins both matches. He won 2.5, 1.5 today. Yesterday it was 2-2, and he won the Blitz playoff 1.5. No Armageddon needed any day. There's no more tournament tomorrow. We needed Giri to win today for there to be a third match. I don't know when the next big event is. I don't know. If St. Louis is having it, or Chess24, or Chess.com, I don't know. When the next Super GM event is. Nobody knows. But whenever it is, whatever it is, I'll be there. Etc. All right, let's go hype train. You can do it. The more you donate, the more videos I make for chess.com. Let's see, do that. I don't want to do that. Do that. Do that. Done. All deleted. That's right. Carlsen gets to have a chicken dinner tonight. Hopefully vegan. Right? Karen's like, should I save this for Ben or am I going to eat it? She doesn't know. She knows. 1,000 Sentadus from RPM 549. 549. Thanks, RPM. That was the most RPMs of the day. 1,000 Sentadus. Oh my God is correct. It's a train. Random Jeff gets punished. He has to donate to the train. That's his punishment. Exactly. Let's see. So let me try to remember the first game from, whenever we did it. I'm not sure I can do. Let's see how much I can do. I don't know. No, I'll just try to remember it because that's funnier. This is definitely the wrong move order. Let's do the right move order. 999 centidues from Cy Bradbury. Let's see. I'm already getting confused. All right, here. This is from my memory, so I wasn't. If you told me to memorize the game while it was going on, and then show it later, that would be a lot easier. For when, like, hey, show us that game. I don't know if he played B6 here, here, or here first. I think he played here first, but I could be wrong. Probably I'm wrong. Let's see. D5 takes E5. No, he played knight F6. So white must have made a move, and then did he play knight F6 here? I thought he played rook here. Knight F6, D5 takes here, here, and then I thought the rook was here. Is this right? Yeah, this isn't right. See, I can't remember. 100 centidues. Thank you. Like, I could get to the right position, but it would be the wrong move order. I don't want to show you the wrong move order. Because I know the gist of what happened, but not exactly. Aha! Rook E3. Now it's coming to me. I'm pretty sure this is right. No, because rook takes E5. Yeah, maybe this is right. Probably not. And then he played H4 earlier. See, I'm just transposing now. This isn't right. Like, this position's going to be right eventually, but I'm giving you the wrong move order. I don't want to give you the wrong move order, but I am giving you the wrong move order. Yeah, this is the wrong move order, but this is the right position. Yeah. I wasn't paying attention during the game. I was too busy drinking my dragon drink. And eventually white won. Yeah, this is the wrong move order. Yeah, this is ridiculous. 9.99. No. I have to go copy and paste from a website that would take me 10 seconds, but I refuse to do it. Anyway, watch my video tonight on chess.com YouTube page. It'll be the game of the day. It should be up in about 7-8 hours. They have to edit it and take out all my swearing and all my Trump stuff and put the pictures in. It takes a while. Then they have to get permission from Ben Simon to make sure that it's okay. There's a lot of work to be done. Yeah. Etc. Go Ben. Here's my game with Gelfand. All right, level 4. We're dying on level 4. Boo. Boo. Let's crush level 4. Karen's eating all my food. No.
I'm done.
Instead of like a memorial to my empty food, she put an empty Perrier bottle between the food to show like that it's all gone. Let's show you. I can show you a puzzle, I guess. Before the train ends. We need the train to go to level 5. Somebody has to give 5 subs and quick. Let's see a puzzle. That one's too hard. That one's too hard. That one's too hard. 222 centidues. Yay. All the puzzles I know are too hard for you guys. Terrible. I'll show you the puzzle I made up. It's my only puzzle. Somebody has to do it. I made this puzzle up like 14 years ago. Yay, 1,500 centidues and 500 centidues. Hooray. Do we make it to level 5? I don't know. I can't tell. Close. Hype train. I guess so. 2,000's a lot. Level 4 complete. Just in time. Thanks, RBM and Jimbo. All right. Black. And then evaluation. This is a puzzle I made up, and I never checked it with an engine. Then I checked it with an engine like 10 years later, and it's right. So, probably should flip the board. Okay, so black's going this way, and white's going this way. You understand now? Black's going this way. I explained it a few times, right? See how black's going that way, and white's going that way. So, like, you pretend you're black. Because it's black to move. Okay. Black to play and draw. It's my only puzzle. Let's see. Live chess. 100 centidues. I showed this a few months ago. I believe that. Black to play and draw. Go black. The engine can say whatever it wants. It's still black to play and draw. It's plus 65 if it's white's move. If it's black's move, it's a draw. It's a good problem because 95% of the answers in the chat are wrong. If it was like all the right answer, then it's a bad problem because everybody gets the answer, right? Yeah. The right answer is in the chat, but most of the answers are wrong. All right, the correct answer is B6. That's the only move that draws. After pawn takes, this is a drawn position because the bishop is here. If that was a pawn or the bishop was anywhere else, it would be a win, but this is a known draw. And if A6, king B5 draws. This is why B5 isn't an answer. After B5, A6 wins. That's a winning position for white. But after B6, A6 does not win because I go take it. And obviously bishop takes, this is a known draw. Now, if you don't play B6 and play like king B5 like some of you suggested, okay, now white's winning with bishop B6. This is actually a win. And the engine now says plus 1 billion or something. So the only drawing move is B6. Yay, I made a puzzle. Yeah. The funny thing about it is not only wrong colored rook pawn, but this position is drawn, and most people don't know that. This is a known draw, it's just a weird position. Yeah. So this is my only puzzle that makes any sense. All right, we got 1 minute to get to the end of level 5. Boo, boo. What happened? I'm going to end the stream after the train ends in a minute and a half, and then I'm going to make the video at some point after I eat. Yeah, and somebody was asking, like, if this draws. No. We don't stalemate you because that would be terrible. So just here, and so forth. Mainly and so forth. Yeah, the engine actually announces mate here. So, yeah. What you have to do is, when he's trying to get back here, you play bishop a7 so he can't get in here. Yeah. And so forth. And QED. Then you promote to a knight and mate with bishop and knight. Something like that. Are you going in the back? Damn, she went in the front. That was close. Can you demonstrate why a takes b6 was a draw? Yes. So this is a draw. If this was a pawn on a7, it's a win, but you can't move the bishop here. That would be the winning method. So in this position, if this was a pawn, you would go here, and then this would be the win. And then b7, and here, and then, okay, you win. But it's a bishop, so you can't play bishop here. So black plays king here. Let's see, black to move. You know, king here, draw. And if you try to win with this, with bishop to b8, I can just take it and it's a draw. So this position's a known draw because the bishop is trapped and terrible and it's shallow and pedantic. Yay, 5 subs, 5,700 bits. So this is a draw. If you take with the bishop, this is also a draw. And so b6 is the only drawing move because you only get one chance to play it. Otherwise, bishop e6 is going to beat you. Yeah, and the problem is correct because the engine agrees. Yeah, the engine agrees with black to move b6 is the only drawing move. But I made this without an engine, and it's just lucky that I was right because I could have been wrong, but that's the best I could do. All right, Carlsen won yesterday. Carlsen won today. I'm going to make the game of the day video for chess.com right after I eat. So if you go to the chess.com YouTube page between like 4 and 9 p.m. today, Eastern, they should have the game up. They wanted to put it up pretty early today because it was played today and it's fresh in your mind. And Carlsen won the tournament. And a lot of people probably get COVID tonight, so they want to get the video in before you get sick. So, yeah. All right. Most of you have left. If you're not here, raise your hand. I'll see you guys tonight about 9 o'clock when I do my second stream today. There's no stream tomorrow morning because the tournament's over. I'm not waking up at 8 in the morning to stream. So tomorrow I'll be here to normal time, not at 8 in the morning or whatever. Frankly, terrible. All right, see you guys tonight in about 7, 8, 9 hours. Bye.